Hello, welcome here to Seminole Stadium. I'm Mark Cochran along with Mary Ramsier. We'll be bringing you the call. This game is already underway as Therrell has the ball on offense. They are at about the 38-yard line on their own territory. Seminoles are on defense. And Mary, what do you expect to see out of this game so far?
Well, we got a lot of injuries tonight for Farrell. They have two big injuries right now from Kilpatrick. This is one of their big players that they're going to have to replace tonight. He was one of their big guys on special teams and one of their big receivers, their slot receiver. So they're going to be finding a way to make these two guys work. They have Dingle and Evans that will be playing for them.
Starting quarterback is Andre Martin, and he's in a pistol formation. He will hand the ball off to number 2 Dingle, who will go nowhere. He's wrapped up by a handful of Seminoles in negative territory, and it will now be second down and about 15 for the Therrell Panthers.
Also, we have the backup quarterback for Farrell playing tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what he will be able to do tonight for them.
Yeah, their original starting quarterback, a freshman, Robbie Armbruster, was hurt a few weeks ago and will not be playing, so Andre Martin will have to step in. He was the starter the past 2 years, but more of a running back. He drops back to pass, scrambles away from pressure, gets the ball off, and it is caught. And the tight end, Pruitt, is tackled down for a gain of about 1 yard. Very hard 1 yard there, and it'll now be third down and about 14.
We're probably going to see a lot from him tonight. He's also going to be playing safety for as well.
Therrell running a no-huddle offense, trying to keep the pace up. Line up in a pistol formation again. Dingle is the setback. Now we will have a whistle and a flag is down. We will go to the referee for the call.
And it looks like it's a false start for Therrell.
So that'll back them up even farther. It'll now be third and about 19 to go. So a long way to go for the Therrell Panthers. They're lined up on the inside hash mark and ready to go. Martin getting the signals from the sidelines. He'll hand the ball off. It'll be to Dingle. He breaks the first couple tackles and then is brought down. The ball is out, but it does appear to have been blown dead. So the Panthers on their first drive will be forced to punt. A good defensive stand there for the Seminoles.
Last few weeks, they haven't been able to score much, and it's, they've had a hard season so far tonight. They have already lost their first 2 games of the season, so, and also Salem has also lost their first game of the season, so both of them are looking forward to snapping their losing streak tonight.
And the punt is away. It is a short and high punt. It'll bounce at about the 41-yard line, roll out of bounds at just about the 41-yard line of the Salem Seminoles. So they will take over in very good field position for their first offensive possession, and we will get a chance to see the Seminoles team in action, led by starting quarterback Donald Wilson. Last week, Salem had kind of a rough outing as they lost to Heritage 34-7. And they're looking for their first win of the season as well. There's a little bit of motion. There is apparently a flag on the play, and taking the ball and going for a very long gain is the slot back, Pruitt. So a very good start there for the Seminoles offense, but there is a flag. And we will now see what the call is. See if that play will stand or not.
Looks like that was a false start on Salem, and they're going to bring it back.
So unfortunate there for the Seminoles, as a very good play by Makari Pruitt will not count. And it'll now be 1st and 15 for the Salem Seminoles. Not a great start to the game,
Also, Mark, last week Salem had 14 penalties, which really killed them last week. It cost them 120 yards throughout the game. They might be able to make those mistakes tonight against Therrell, but obviously that's something they got to learn how to get control over.
It's not too surprising. Beginning of the season, only the first and second game now for Salem. Still getting the jitters out, getting the feel of the way this team plays together. Wilson looking in, getting the signals from the sidelines. He will turn and he will fire, and it'll be incomplete, just off of the hands of Justin Johnson, and he gets tagged on that play as well. Dangerous throw there for Wilson, as it was read beautifully by the Panthers, and that could have been a much worse play than it was. Will now be 2nd down and 15. Seminoles continue with their no-huddle offense. Pruitt comes in motion, and it is a fake handoff. Wilson will keep it himself. He breaks a couple of tackles, and it takes the entire Panthers defense to bring him down. A run of about 7 yards. Good run there for the starting quarterback. And it now looks to be about third, say about 7. 3rd and 6 here for the Seminoles, as they're already lined up and ready to go. Wilson rolls to his right, throws to Pruitt, who makes the grab, gets a block, and he gets the first down. And that is a first down there for the Salem Seminoles. Very good pitch and catch there from the quarterback to the slot back.
You can see the coach on the sideline very excited right now. Looks like he wants to keep this momentum going right now. What he's signaling to his players.
They're already lined up and ready to go. They're lined up before the chains. So far, Salem operating very well-oiled offense here, as the handoff will go to Williams, who breaks a couple of tackles, and he will be down at just about the 34-yard line of the Panthers. Appears to be about 2nd down and 9, so that's 2 back-to-back very strong plays here for Salem.
Also, Laquan Williams, that's our Campbell University commit. He's already committed. He is a senior for Salem.
Seminoles are ready to go again. Handoff goes to Williams again. He goes up the middle, breaks a few tackles, and he will have the first down to about the 30-yard line. It'll be a 1st down and 10 for Salem. So they continue to power through here as they approach the red zone of Farrell. Handoff will go to Williams again, and this time gets about 3 or 4 yards on the play. 4 yards. And that'll be 2nd down and 6.
Also, Williams is also a track runner. He runs the 100-meter, 200-meter long jump, and he was 2nd team all-region last year for the track team as well.
Very good speed from the backfield, as Wilson will take the ball. He'll scramble to his left. He finds no one open, and he will keep it himself. He will power through for a good gain to about the 21-yard line. And that'll be just shy of a 1st down. It'll now be 3rd down and 9 for Salem. Very impressive drive here for the Seminoles thus far. Really haven't been stopped at all.
Looks like right now they're trying to figure out from their coach what play they want to run, but they're back ready to go.
Wilson again in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, takes it himself up the middle, makes a couple of Panthers miss, and he will have the 1st down. So Wilson doing it himself, getting the 1st down, and it'll now be 1st and 10. And Salem is now in the red zone on their first drive of the game. So far it looks like Therrell having a lot of problems with the speed of this Salem offense. And there's movement there by the Panthers defensive line. Flag is thrown. Most likely be encroachment on the defense, and that is what we have. So it'll now be 1st and 5 for the Seminoles, and that is something, if you are the Therrell Panthers, you cannot have penalties. You're already at a disadvantage in this game. You can't have penalties hurting you as well.
Also, we talked a little bit to Therrell's coach for the game. All their defensive plan is to keep fresh legs in for their defense, so it's going to be hard to see what they're expected from tonight.
Wilson throws the ball up, and it is reached up by Jenkins, but unfortunately
they called it out of bounds there. Ref called it out of bounds. It looked almost like both of them were going to catch the ball right there.
So the fade pass is incomplete. But a good job there by Jenkins going up, trying for the ball. Good job by the Panthers defense, keeping them in line. Good job there by cornerback Daquan Evans to break up that pass play. Now Salem's in a pistol formation, and there's a lot of movement. That looks like it will be on the Seminoles' false start. So they will go all the way back, and it will now be 2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line.
You know, like I said earlier, they had lots of penalties. Having penalties like this when you're this close is really going to hurt you throughout the game. They're so close.
Another pistol formation. There's a little bit of movement. It's handed off to Will. And fighting for every inch of that is all the way down to the 5-yard line.
Earlier this week when we talked to Therrell's coach, he said their offensive line was one of their weak spots of their game, and we're seeing that tonight as Salem's been able to break through their offensive line a lot throughout this game.
And here it is again. This is to Amarius Burnham. And the play is whistled dead. He does get into the end zone. But now we will see what the call is. And that will be on the defense. So it will now be 1st down, and that'll be half the distance to the goal. So 1st and goal from about the 3-yard line. The Seminoles are looking to put the ball in the end zone here. Pistol formation, the deep back is Amarius Burnham. And again, another whistle. This play is blown dead yet again. There is another false start penalty on the Seminoles. So after a very good drive, it is stifling right now due to mistakes. So it'll now be 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. It's a far cry from 1st and goal from the 5-yard line, or from the 3-yard line.
You know, with these type of penalties, this could be Therrell's saving grace for them tonight.
See a little bit of motion here, and this time it is faked to Burnham. Wilson will keep it himself, but he is gobbled up by the Panthers defense. He goes for a loss of 2 yards, and it'll now be 1st and goal from the 10, or 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line for the Seminoles. And a good job by the Panthers, as you said, capitalizing on that penalty, using that to their advantage. Their defense is starting to step up. Seminoles have slowed down the pace just a little bit here. Getting a little sloppy on the offensive side, so they're making sure to tighten that up.
Also, Therrell has lots of their offense and defense playing both positions, so it's going to be hard for them to keep up their energy for the rest of the night.
See a little bit of motion here. Wilson will drop back under pressure, and he will be sacked all the way down to the 18-yard line.
Number 77, Blake McBride.
And it will now be 3rd down and goal from the 18. So this drive has really fallen apart here for the Seminoles. They had 1st and goal from the 3, and now are at 3rd and goal from the 18. This is a tough area to call plays here, because you're pretty far for a field goal at this point. You have to pretty much get the ball in the end zone. And Wilson will lob the ball up, and it is dove for and just dropped by wide receiver Justin Johnson. Very good effort there by Johnson, but he was unable to come down with the football.
Yeah, Johnson's one of their best players on their team. He's one of the few on their team that was selected to play in the true 19 Georgia All-Star game this year. He's definitely one of their go-to guys, and he's just a junior.
So now they will go for a field goal. Coming on to kick is the kicker, Kitston Newton. He is a senior, so he's been in for a while. And the ball is grabbed by number 6, Laquan Williams, as he ran onto the field from the sidelines. And it almost looks like that was a planned play, but there is a flag down as he went nowhere. And that is illegal motion on the offense. So I'm not really sure what they were thinking there, as that is very clearly not allowed. But it almost looked like that was a design play.
It did look like a design play, but almost also, I guess, a miscommunication.
So that'll
it's
be
hard to believe, Mark, Salem's coaches, he's had a wide range of coaching and has done very well. He's coached for Griffin. He's turned around programs. It's hard to think that he would mess up with a play like that for tonight.
So that'll be a turnover on downs as Therrell will come back onto the field. Their offense making their 2nd appearance.
And they have lots of switch-ups tonight. We're going to see lots from Daquan Evans tonight for Therrell's offense.
And taking the ball is Dingle, and he goes nowhere. Met by a handful of Seminoles. It will now be 2nd down and 9 for the Panthers. Panthers running a no-huddle offense, but much slower pace than we saw from the Seminoles. Trying to make sure that they know exactly where they're going. So Martin takes the ball, and he will fire. It is caught by Evans, who breaks a couple of tackles, and he is finally brought down at about the 28-yard line. It is very close to the 1st down. And it is good enough for the 1st down. So it'll now be 1st down and 10 for the Panthers as they are lined up and ready to go. And the pass is to Dingle. He makes a couple of Seminoles miss and fights his way down to the 40-yard line. And that is close to another 1st down. See where the spot is. And it is good enough for a 1st down. That's 2 1st downs in a row for the Panthers.
And the Panthers, they arrived here super late, Mark. They were stuck in traffic. A lot of people had some doubts about how their performance was going to be affected tonight. They've had lots of injuries throughout the week. Coach said earlier this week that they had a stomach bug going throughout the team. So some of these guys that probably been playing tonight aren't 100%.
Yeah, very difficult job there for the head coach, Greg Sullivan. And now keeping it himself is Martin. He will fight down to about the 45-yard line, so another 5-yard gain. So the Panthers continue with positive plays here on this offensive drive as they are very near Seminole territory.
Also, like we said, this is Coach Sullivan's 1st year coaching head coach. He's coached a couple times throughout the years, but this is his 1st time being, the main man.
And that'll be handed off to number 4, Quizzy Hook. And he is tackled for a loss of about 2 yards. It'll now be 3rd down, about 6 here for the Panthers. And the Seminoles have a chance to shut this drive down before they get into their own territory. Martin relaying the signals to his players. He rolls to his right. Little dump pass, and it is caught again by Hook, but he slips down about the 45-yard line. That is only a gain of 2 yards. And it'll now be 4th down and 5, and the Panthers have a decision to make here. Do they go for it, or do they give it back to Salem?
Also a little bit, Therrell's coach said that they've changed their running game this year, and it looks like whatever changes they've made, it's starting to work tonight.
And that will be the end of the first quarter, and at the end of one, there's no score here from Seminole Stadium.
Also, when you get the opportunity, just let me know why. $28 for football or 2 for 50. Make sure you take advantage of that deal today. Also, $55 or 2 for $100. You can get an all sports pass for the entire year. Make sure you stop by and see Coach
still recording
to get those passes.
Okay, let's talk about first year's.
Yeah, so far we've seen an interesting start to this game. 2 new coaches here for both of these programs. For the Salem Seminoles, Jarrett Laws in his 2nd year as the Salem head coach. Last year had a rough season, went 5-5, missed the playoffs by 1 game, losing the last game of the season to Druid Hills. And also then Greg Sullivan in his 1st year for the Panthers. And what have you seen so far out of these coaches?
You know, it's really interesting to see tonight. Jarrett Laws for Salem. He has gone to multiple programs, been athletic directors, and has turned around programs.
And now the Panthers are going to punt. And here's the kick, a much better punt than the first time. Making a couple of guys miss is Johnson, and he is finally wrestled down about the 22-yard line. So that is where the Seminoles will take over for their 2nd offensive possession, and there is a flag on the field.
That was an awesome tackle by Brian Glenn also for Farrell.
It is a block in the back on the Seminoles, so they will be pushed back even farther into their own territory. And not a very good field position here for the Seminoles in their 2nd drive. And in a game like this with no score still, significant disadvantage. So the refs are sorting out the ball placement.
Another interesting thing that I want to talk about tonight is both coaches throughout this week, they both expressed how their O-lines are not very set in stone. They are still working on them. They both agreed coaches both said for their weaknesses this week was their O-lines. So that's something that will be really interesting to see tonight how that plays. To start off with, Salem was pushing through their O-line.
So here goes Pruitt in motion, and Wilson will keep it himself. He will find a hole. And he continues to power through this Panthers defense, and he makes it all the way down to the 48-yard line with an absolutely fantastic run for the Seminoles quarterback. And there is a Panther player down. He was in on that tackle from Wilson. And there's also a flag down on the play, all the way back at the 10-yard line. So right now we are awaiting the penalty call as the trainers tend to Queasy Hook who is the Panther, down on the play. He is now standing up and is walking off the field under his own power.
You know, if you're Therrell right now, you definitely don't want any more injuries than you already have tonight. They already have multiple changes for their people tonight.
And the call is holding against the Seminoles, so that very impressive run by Donald Wilson will be going back.
Also, if you were here at the stadium, you can see all the players kneeling down and showing great short sportsmanship tonight, which is always nice to see at any level.
We hope to see Hook back on the field at some point in this game. Now the Seminoles will have the ball down on their own 5-yard line. It is now first down and 10. So far, Salem has had 5 penalties for 31 yards. Therrell has had 4 penalties. So already pretty little bit of a sloppy start for both of these teams. Now Wilson will hand the ball off, making a couple of people miss, but then being brought down at about the 7-yard line is Daquan Williams.
You know, this game could be totally different right now, Mark, if we didn't see so many penalties from Salem at the beginning or towards the end of that first quarter. There should be points on the board right now, at least from them.
Yeah, Salem back in the first quarter had a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line, and several penalties later at 3rd and goal from the 18 and were unable to score. Wilson drops back. Throw down the field for Pruitt, and it is caught, and he will get all the way down to the Panthers' 46-yard line. A very impressive throw and catch there by Wilson to Pruitt.
Also, Pruitt was another one of their true 19 Georgia All-Star players from Salem this past season, and he's definitely showing All-Star material tonight.
That was a very impressive play by Pruitt to catch and run. Salem's already ready to go here. It is a throw again to Pruitt, and he will be wrestled down at the 45-yard line, so a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Seminoles as they are once again in Panther territory. So the Seminoles are all the way down at their own 3-yard line, have managed to come all the way back and turn this into a drive. Pistol formation here. And Williams will take the ball himself, finds a little bit of a hole, and he powers for a gain of about 4.
It looks like here that Therrell's O-line is finally, it looks like they're finally trying to figure out what works best for them.
It is now 3rd down and 4.
Number 77, Blake McBride-Gray for Therrell's also been playing very well tonight for the O-line. He had a big tackle earlier and was that main one on that last tackle as well.
The Seminoles, their no-huddle offense, lined up and ready to go. Williams in the backfield with Wilson. Pruitt comes in motion. He will take the handoff. He will try to get around the corner and manages to get about 3 yards. So that'll be 4th down and short here for the Seminoles, and they have a decision to make on the 42-yard line of the Panthers. And it looks like they are going to elect to go for it. They are staying on the field. They are already lined up. And it is handed off to Williams. He finds a hole. He breaks through, and he will score. Daquan Williams with the long touchdown run, and the Seminoles now lead 6-0.
And that is Salem senior, our commit to Campbell University tonight.
Daquan Williams has great breakaway speed. He runs a 4.340, and once he gets to the second level, he is very, very hard to catch. So a very impressive performance
after he kicks it, send it down to Shakir.
Very impressive performance there by Laquan Williams. A good drive there for the Seminoles, who at one point were all the way down to their own 3-yard line, and they managed to get all the way into the end zone. Mary, what did you see on that drive? So now we will await the extra point. And the Seminoles will try and make this game a 7-0 affair. Head coach Jarrett Law is trying to get his correct personnel on the field. With 8 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the half. Coming on to kick the extra point is Kitston Newton. And the kick is up, and it is good. So the Seminoles now lead the Panthers 7-0 here in the second quarter.
For Therrell, they had a really good momentum going there right before Salem got these last couple of drives and got a touchdown. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Therrell does the rest of this half. They can keep that momentum going. They have lots of different things they've been trying in and out. Hopefully this doesn't kill their momentum.
So far, Laquan Williams in this game is 5 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown. And the quarterback, Donald Wilson, he is 3 of 6 with 54 passing yards. And he has 12 rushing yards. So far, positive performance for the Salem offense. Now Salem getting ready to kick off. They're lined up and ready to go.
Also, Farrell hasn't had very high scoring. The 2 games that they've played, they haven't scored much. So they need to keep this game low scoring because they're not the best at scoring that much.
And there is the kick. It is taken. And making his way down the field is Evans. He will finally be brought down at the 34-yard line of the Panthers. So good field position here for Therrell.
With Kilpatrick being hurt tonight, he's usually that guy back there that's returning for them. And Evans is the one that's taking his place tonight. Not only is he returning, he's going to be the receiver tonight. We're going to see him also on defense as cornerback. Also, we have Wright as well for Therrell that has a high ankle sprain. Jordan Smith also for Therrell also has a shoulder injury. He's getting surgery on September 26th.
So now the Panthers look to take over as Martin barks out the signals. He hands the ball off to Hook, who is back in the game. He will make his way down to the 36-yard line.
As I was saying, they're continuing on with some more injuries from Therrell. They got 28 as well. Cameron Clayton with the arm injury, and also number 30 is out tonight with a pulled muscle. And also with Kilpatrick, we finally got an update on him. It looks like he has a possible ACL tear.
So definitely a big blow there for the Panthers as they look to continue without them. Here's a handoff to Hook again, and he goes nowhere, stopped by many Seminoles. He will be dropped for a loss as the ball will be brought back all the way to the 34-yard line. And there is a timeout called by the Panthers. So a tough offensive performance here for Therrell. They had a good drive their last time out, but unfortunately were stifled once they got near the Seminoles territory. And here they have a 3rd down and long.
Also a little bit, we talked a little about our coaches earlier. Jarrett Laws, he's really experienced. He's looking obviously to come in and turn around this Salem program. They've had some hard couple of years. They haven't made the playoffs in over 10 years. They're looking to do something. Laws turned around a program down in Mountain Zion and also down in Riverdale at Drew High School. Also at Griffin, he was with Griffin, which is a big state, known school. Lots of state championships there, and he also coached there and did really successful. So I'm sure with the athletic director here at Salem, they were hiring him looking to turn around this program.
Yeah, most definitely. Salem hasn't made the playoffs since 2014. They were 1 win away last year, and they look to have a better year here in 2017. Martin will drop back to pass. It is thrown downfield, and it is just dropped by Dingle. He was wide open with no one in front of him, and he cannot come up with the catch.
Also, Dingle is another one of those guys tonight that has a lot of pressure for Therrell. He's also playing on defense as well as a cornerback. He has a lot of pressure, though, but he's definitely one of their big players to watch.
So it is now 4th down and 10, and the Panthers will have to punt for the 3rd time in this matchup. Salem with 2 deep, awaiting the kick, and it is a line drive kick that is fielded by Pruitt, and he finds some running room on the outside, and he will make it all the way down to about the 26-yard line, but there is a flag on the play, and this looks like it will be coming back. More penalties here for this the Salem Seminoles team.
Earlier, like we talked about, Farrell the last few games, the point that they've scored, not that many.
It is a block in the back here on the Seminoles, and they will be driven back a little farther now.
They can't let this Salem team score lots of points. Therrell hasn't figured out how to continue to score points as they get down. They're more of a defensive team. They can hold the team well in their defense. They have to definitely control, which they've been doing pretty well right now. Salem hasn't scored as much as, was kind of projected. You have lots of, like we said, lots of injuries out. So we have lots of pressure here on the defense. Coach's plan tonight was to keep fresh legs in and out. That was his only plan, his quote for the night, verbatim from him.
So the Seminoles will take over at their own 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. We have Pruitt, who is out wide to the right. Udumbaku enters the game as the wideout to the left, with Justin Johnson in the slot. And it is a handoff to Williams. He finds a hole to the outside, and he will drive forward for a 1st down, a run of about 18 yards. So Williams continues to put on a very impressive rushing performance here for the Seminoles.
That's more yards tonight for Williams. Him and Pruitt looks like they're going to be most of the yards tonight for Salem.
So Salem will now have a 1st and 10 from the Panthers' 48-yard line. And it's a handoff. It is a fake handoff, and Wilson will keep it himself, and he has nowhere to go, so he will just cut his losses and go out of bounds for no gain.
One thing also that's great for Salem right now, they have lots of options to pass through on their offense. A lot of these guys, they're not having to play, they have a little bit more backups. They have more people to put in fresh legs and people that aren't playing double positions. This Therrell teams have a lot of people that are having to play both positions tonight, which is hard.
So Wilson will take it. He will option it to his left, elects to keep it himself, makes one man miss, then is brought down by 2 more Panthers for a gain of about 2 yards. It'll now be 3rd down and about 6 here for the Seminoles. They now have to make something happen here in order to keep this drive alive.
Also, it's nice having a quarterback as well that can run the ball as well. They've been using him as well.
And this is a toss to Jesse Carter, the running back. Makes one man miss, but then is brought down by 3 more Panthers. That is a gain of about 1 yard. So it is now 4th down and 5. And the Seminoles are staying on the field. They're going to go for it. What do you think of this decision here?
They had luck on the last 4th down. And also, when you have your backups that are playing well, I mean, his backups are the one that are also, they have both their first string and their second string that are making numbers happen.
So another shotgun formation. Wilson will drop back. He will throw it down the middle, and it is caught for a first down to the junior, Tyler Smith. And they go for it on 4th down yet again, and yet again convert. And this Seminoles drive continues as the ball is all the way down to the 30-yard line.
Also, that's Salem's leading receiver, and he is one of those guys that he already has a college offer. He is looking to get some, or he has gotten attention from Florida Atlantic.
And going back is Wilson, and he will dump it off. And the ball is taken away by Hook of the Panthers. And he will run it all the way down to the 45-yard line, and the Panthers will take over.
I don't think Hook is feeling that bad after that big play earlier. He's the guy that was down earlier on the field that we saw last quarter. He was stumbling a little bit off the field. I guess he's feeling good.
That was a very impressive play there by Hook as he just took the ball right out of the hands of the Salem Seminoles, and he takes the ball back the other way, and so the Panthers have new life here with 5.5 minutes to go in this half. They're only down by 1 touchdown, and they have a chance to make this a ball game. So stepping back on the field is quarterback Andre Martin. He will try and lead his team to some points. He hands the ball off to Hook, who is tackled for no gain. And that'll now be 2nd down and 10. Good tackle there by the nose tackle, Khalil Maxwell. It is 2nd and 10. So it is a option keeper for Martin, but he is tackled down for a gain of about 1. It'll now be 3rd and 9. So a good job by the Seminoles defensive line not letting that fumble affect them. And they've continued to play their game and shut down this Panthers attack.
Mark, right now, this 3rd down, this conversion right here is really critical for them right now. With 4 minutes to go, clock running, they gotta make this 1st down.
This is a big play here for the Panthers if they want to keep any sort of momentum going. They have trips left to the short side. Dropping back is Martin. He is under pressure. He will roll to his right, and he throws the ball, and it is complete for a first down to Daquan Evans. And a very good job by the Panthers to keep this drive going with about just over 4 minutes remaining in the half.
Definitely looks like Therrell has gotten their O-line under control, doing better blocking, making more options definitely for that quarterback.
There was good pressure on that play by the defensive end, Devon Reeves. But a good job by the Panthers offensive line to give their quarterback just enough time to find the open receiver and get the 1st down. 1st down and 10. Panthers driving. And Martin will throw the ball to Dingle, who makes a couple guys miss and then is brought down for a gain of about 4 yards. And it'll be 2nd and 6 from the 40-yard line. Panthers are in Seminole territory, but their time is running out with the clock going down to just over 3.5 minutes. So the Panthers now will line up with three wide to the right, pistol formation. Martin will take the snap. He'll hand it off to Hook, who goes straight up the middle and goes nowhere. Is eaten up by the Seminoles defensive line.
I definitely think, too, though, Therrell plays more patient in their offense versus Salem. They play that quick, no huddle, ready to get things happening. But I feel like Therrell really takes their time. They think out these plays, and I think that's really helping them, especially tonight when they're kind of playing chaotically.
There's a timeout on the field by the Panthers. So both teams will head to their sidelines and regroup for this very important drive here for both teams. For the Panthers, as they are finally have a little bit of life offensively, and also for the Seminoles, who want to shut down this momentum that the Panthers have after that takeaway by Hook. On the Seminoles' previous drive, they were driving all the way down, had a good chance of going up 2 scores, and then Hook comes through, takes the ball away, and this is a very different ball game now. So it looks like both teams have heard what they needed to hear. And they're headed back out to the field of play. Ball is on the 39-yard line of the Seminoles, as the Panthers have now 39 yards to go in 3 minutes if they want to tie this game.
Definitely, if you're Therrell right now, you have to score going into the half. Making it a tied game right now would be huge for them.
So again, 3 wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. Shotgun formation. And going back is Martin, and he makes the throw, and it is knocked away by number 15, A.J. McCorkle. Very good play there by the Salem cornerback. So that'll bring up 4th down and 6 here for the Panthers with just under 3 minutes to play. So far, Martin is 6 for 7 with 35 yards passing. Hook has 6 carries for no yards. Dingle has 2 carries for 4 yards and 2 catches for 13 yards. So far this success for this Therrell team is through the air. Martin will draw back, and he will loft the ball high and deep to Dingle, and it is just a little bit too far, and that will be a turnover on downs as Salem will take over with 2:43 remaining in the half. So very good defensive stand there by the Seminoles after that fumble.
Yeah, definitely for also your backup quarterback going in and making big plays happen for your team. A lot of players on this team, they're not comfortable in these spots or positions, and they're doing a great job tonight, especially with little preparation this week. Throughout the week, Coach Sullivan said that they've been having different players, been trying out different things throughout the whole week due to their injuries, due to the stomach bug going out through their team. They didn't have a depth chart. They didn't have a lineup for most of their week of practice.
So now the Seminoles will take over from the 39-yard line. And with 2 minutes and 43 seconds, they're looking to extend this lead. And Wilson will keep it himself and will go for a gain of about 2 yards. It'll now be 2nd down and 8 yards. And with the clock running, interesting decision there to run the ball. We'll see if Coach Laws is just electing to run out the remainder of this clock instead of trying to risk another potential disaster like that fumble on the last drive. Dropping back is Wilson. He will throw the ball across the middle, and it is caught, but it is now ruled incomplete there to wide receiver Tyler Smith. That'll stop the clock at 2 minutes and 5 seconds. And it'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Seminoles.
That was definitely a close one there. That would have been a big play also for them. They have just enough time to get a touchdown, but they're definitely going to have to move the ball up this field right now. Going into halftime, up 14-0 would be big for Salem. Therrell really needs to do something big here. They need to keep up this momentum they're going. I definitely feel like Therrell's going back and forth fighting with them and keeping with them.
So Wilson getting ready in this 3rd down situation. And there is some movement now. Flags are out. And this is going to go against the defense. So that'll be 5 yards earned for the Seminoles as the ball now crosses the 50-yard line.
That was I think that was probably Therrell's first big penalty of the night. They've done a great job with not getting penalties, unlike Salem, who continues to get penalties. But they definitely can't start this habit now.
So now it'll be 3rd down and 4 for the Seminoles with 2:05 remaining in the half. They're just over the 50-yard line. Going back is Wilson. He will throw, and it is caught by Pruitt, who tries to find some open room. He has the first down and is all the way down to the 45-yard line. And that will now be 1st and 10, and the clock will stop as the chains are reset. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the half.
And they're already ready to line up. They run that no huddle.
So Wilson will roll to his right. He will throw it downfield, and it is caught by number 11, Lennox Bowie.
That's another fresh legs tonight that we see here for Salem. That is their backup.
And so now the ball is down to the 34-yard line with 1:35 left. And Wilson will now drop back. He will loft the ball up, and draped all over Jenkins are the Panthers cornerback, and that will be a flag. So the clock will stop at 1:25. There's defensive holding called on the Panthers. That'll give.
This definitely isn't a time, for the defense to start falling apart.
That is a very ill-timed penalty here for Therrell, or for Therrell. As that'll be more free yardage given to the Seminoles here, who are already driving.
2 penalties.
And it will now also be called, another penalty is called on the Seminoles. So we will see if these most likely will now offset. So there will be no benefit for either team here. So 2 ill-timed penalties, one for each side, and they end up canceling each other out. So we will replay the down. So it will be 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line, with 1:25 left in the half. And Coach Laws.
It looks like he's a little upset down there. I think it might cost him it a little bit.
He is very angry here on the refs. 2 calls are defensive holding and ineligible receiver downfield, so they will offset. And we will replay 1st and 10 for the Seminoles. They will get a chance to regroup here, trying to put the ball in the end zone to make this a 2-score game. Pruitt comes in motion. Dropping back is Wilson. He will tuck it, and he will now take it himself. He finds a little bit of room to the outside. He gets a great block by Williams, breaks some more tackles, fighting his way towards the end zone, and he will be brought down at about the 3-yard line. Very impressive run by the Seminoles quarterback, and he continues to do it himself here. Just over a minute in the half, and the Seminoles are already ready. The clock stops for the first down, and it'll be 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Seminoles lining up in a pistol formation, looking to drive this ball home. Hand off to Williams. He goes right up the middle and is met by a horde of Panthers defensemen, and he will be stopped short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 3. The clock is now under a minute left. And there will now be a timeout called by the Seminoles. So the clock will stop at 50.3 seconds left in the half. Salem leading by a single touchdown, 7-0. And they now have a chance to make this a 2-score game. Very impressive offensive performance here by the Seminoles at the end of this half.
Like we said, this was definitely a time for Therrell's defense to break down right now. But for Salem, this is big for them to go into this half. As we said, the last 2 games, Therrell has not been able to score more than more than 14 points in their last 2 games. If the Seminoles can continue to to score, it's going to be hard for Therrell. They're going to have to do something they haven't done this season thus far.
So the Panthers have heard what they needed to hear from their coach. Seminoles have heard what they needed to hear from Laws. And this is big couple plays right here. They decide to try and throw it and get a couple more plays out of it, or try and run it and risk the clock going farther. Line up in a power pistol again. 2 wide to the left, 1 wide to the right. In the backfield is Marius Burnham. A little bit of motion from Pruitt, and it is a handoff to Burnham, and he is met again by several Panthers, and he is brought down for a loss of about 1, down to the 4-yard line.
Yeah, that's again number 77 on Therrell's team, Blake McBride Gray. He's had a lot of great tackles tonight. He's definitely one of the big players tonight for Therrell, and has definitely been a big playmaker for them tonight.
And another timeout called by the Seminoles. Stops the clock at about 42 seconds remaining in the half. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Do you risk running the ball and losing precious seconds, or do you try and throw the ball, which is a little bit more risky? The Panthers were ready for that run there, and they shut down Omarius Burnham. Burnham, the starting outside linebacker, we have seen in the backfield so far in this game a handful of times. Usually near the goal line, they bring in the 5'10", 185-pound junior. So far, he has not been extremely successful.
Also, too, there's been a couple plays tonight that Therrell's defense has been ready for those picks. They've dropped a couple, barely got their fingertips on those balls. There's bound to be a pick if the ball comes their way.
A very good job by the defensive backfield of Therrell so far in this game. As the Seminoles will now take the field again, trying to put the ball in the end zone. It's on the 4-yard line, 3rd down and goal, 42 seconds remaining in the half. Seminoles lined up in a power formation. And taking the ball and running right back up the middle, and just getting stopped short of the goal line is A.J. McCorkle. Normally a defensive back, but in at quarterback on that play. And they're quickly going to run another play. Clock winding down at 22 seconds. And McCorkle will take the ball. He is running to his left, not finding anywhere to go. And now is all the way back to the 20-yard line, running around the outside. And he is stuffed down at the 10-yard line as the clock is stopped at just under 7 seconds. There's a penalty on the play.
He was definitely scrambling there, trying to find someone to pass it to, trying to find a way to get there in the end zone.
There's going to be an illegal block here on the Seminoles. And that will push them back.
They get the ball back. They'll turn it down.
So that is a personal foul, illegal contact. And because that was 4th down, it is a turnover on downs. And with 7 seconds remaining, would not surprise me if Therrell decides to just go ahead and take a knee and head to the locker room with this only down by 7 points. Very good defensive stand there for the Panthers as they had a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line and were able to shut them down all 4 times.
Second time.
And this is the 2nd time in the game they have shut down the Seminoles inside the 3-yard line. So a very good job for this Therrell defense. And a knee is taken, and that will run out the first half. So after the first half of play, the Salem Seminoles lead the Therrell Panthers 7-0. So what did you see out of this half so far, Mary, for both sides?
Definitely shocking for Therrell. Had a late start getting here. They definitely figured out, they were worried about their O-line. I feel like their O-line definitely improved throughout the game. It was harder and harder for Salem to break through that O-line. Also, Salem also was having some trouble with their O-line as well. I definitely think Therrell found some ways to beat around them and fix some problems that they were having earlier in these first two games.
I think the big story so far of this half has been the Therrell defense. But right now, after this half of play, we will now send it down to Shakira Speaks for the halftime sideline report.
Touchdown.
Well, for us, we were trying to establish a little bit of tempo. We tended to think the D-line was a little tired.
We see that Farrell is controlling the tempo. What are you doing? How are you going to change that in the second half?
We just going to get it. We got to get a better job of getting ourselves aligned. Fast enough, and we're letting them do it. We're going to talk that up and definitely make a correction before the second half.
Okay. We see that the first half. What are you telling your team going into the locker room how to clean up their mistakes?
You're right, we're going to turn into a track team for USA Track on Monday.
Thank you, Coach. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Shakira. So at the end of the first half, it is Salem up 7-0. The lone touchdown coming on a 38-yard touchdown run from Laquan Williams. It was actually a fourth down run. We saw Salem.
to keep an eye out for, because they're a young defense with only 2 returning starters, with Rodney Lewis at number 52 and then Marquez Clark at number 34. I mean, that's pretty good for a very young defense, and the fact that they stopped that fast running back on the goal line is just a signature defensive plays.
Yeah, so 2 of the important players out there for these 2 teams are the quarterbacks, especially Salem's quarterback Donald Wilson with a 7-0 lead coming into it. He's got to feel kind of good coming in to the locker room right now. It could be a little bit bigger. What'd you see from him in the first half?
You know, he went 7 for 11 for 85 yards in the air, and then he had 10 rushes for 47. I just thought it was very impressive how he decided to utilize his legs a lot more than just his throwing ability, because that's what the defense was giving him. They were covering him on the corners and stuff like that, so he's, you know what, my offensive line's blocking pretty good tonight, let's go up the middle.
Yeah, and he's getting just his 4th career start tonight. What did you expect from him coming into this one?
You know, I expected a little bit of a challenge, you know, a new quarterback and the offensive line. You always have to establish that relationship, and I think that's what Coach Jarrett Laws wanted to do this week, is prepare them for that. You have to have a connection, and all great offenses have that, you know, that dynamic connection between that quarterback and either the center or all the offensive linemen. So I think that's what they're utilizing right now, and they're executing it very well.
Yeah, and on the other side of the field, the man leading the charge for Therrell, Andre Martin. What have you seen from him so far?
Martin has 6 for 9 for 35 yards, and then he has 3 rushes for just 30 yards. So what's standing out to me is that he's using his arm a lot more than his legs. All week, you know, we've been learning about how fast he is, how strong of a runner he is, but it's the passing game that is actually working for the Panthers right now, so that's really impressive to me.
Yeah, well, future quarterback, they said they were going to groom him into the starting position. Robbie Armrester, he went out there and he actually got injured last week, so we should see a lot more of Andre Martin. What did you sort of expect from him coming into this one?
You know, Andre has been starting for the past 2 years, I believe it is, and Coach Sullivan wanted to groom Armbrester into being the starting quarterback. However, it didn't work out because as a freshman you're coming in and this is a big stage, and it's kind of like, you know, deer in the headlights, but it's just one of those things that Sullivan's going to have to, you know, roll with the punches and just go with it. I think Martin's going to turn out to be a great quarterback for them this season, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, they're going to be a lot more successful than they were.
Yeah, so they might not be the biggest names on the team, but who did you see as the key players for Salem in the first half?
I would say that Makari Pruitt and Kevon Williams are the two players that stood out to me for the most. Pruitt had 5 catches for 65 yards, and then Williams had 7 rushes for 72 yards in that touchdown run. I just think utilizing both of them along with Wilson on his legs is just expanding the defense a little bit more, and it's nice to see some big breaks.
Yeah. What about on the opposite side for Therrell? I know they're down 7-0 right now, but who do you see as a key player in the first half?
You know, Martin is just a dominant force on the offense. However, I think the key player to me is going to be Marquez Clark. I'm correct. I think he has about 5 tackles so far, a couple for a loss, and he's just making his stance on the defense as that leader. I mean, one of 2 returning starters, he's going to have to make a stance. He's going to have to coach up on the field, and I think he's doing a very good job of that right now.
Yeah, Clark and Martin are desperately trying to get head coach Greg Sullivan his first career win as a head coach. Though he's new to head coaching, he's got plenty of experience with football. He was actually a 4-year starter at Savannah State as a defensive back. After that, he moved on to being a defensive coordinator at Pope High School as well as Meadow Creek High School. On the other side of the field, it's head coach Jarrett Laws that's taken Salem by the ranks. He's entering his 2nd season, but it is his 11th season overall as a head coach, and he touts a 53-51 record in those seasons. You know, we actually got to talk to him this week, and for him and his players, it's not only important to look good on the field, it's also important to look good off of it.
Monday mornings are tough for high school students, but 7:30 on Monday morning is tough for everyone, except Salem Seminoles head coach Jarrett Laws. Each Monday, he meets his players for a unique tradition.
Under and pinch it, over your fingers, loop, and poke it. Yeah, you guys are going straight first period. Hang on a second, freshman, I got you. You remember how to tie it? Yeah. All right. My man. My guys wear shirts and ties. It's hard for you to know if you're not on Twitter.
Long before the lights of Friday night, Coach Laws begins preparing his players for the week.
We call it Business Mondays. One of the things that I noticed a long time ago is we have to get our kids in tune with wanting to address Mondays and attack it with the same fervor that they would attack a Friday. So in other programs, they try and make the Friday special, but for us, it's the beginning of the work week. So we're going to make Monday special. And in doing so, we're going to make sure that our guys look the part, dress the part, act the part, so that we can get our week started off the right way. Fold your collar up real nice. People talk about being a student athlete. My guys are really student athletes. All right. We want to make sure our guys are sitting at the front of the class. We want to make sure our guys are being identified for getting their education as well as playing ball.
This Friday, Salem opens their 2017 season at crosstown rival Heritage. But for today, the Seminoles are tackling manhood head on.
Straighten you up. Now you look like somebody.
Well, look good, play good. Am I right, Savannah?
Definitely.
Speaking of playing good, Salem is playing well right now with a 7-0 halftime lead, knocking at the door to get more. What adjustments do Therrell need to make to try and even this game out?
Therrell has to be able to move the ball offensively. They're doing a great job stopping Williams and Wilson on the Salem offense, but they're not getting that motivation or the momentum that they need on the offensive things. Martin needs to either run the ball a little bit more or get some extra wide receivers, because it's just kind of like a push and pull. That Salem defense is very strong, and I think they're doing the best that they can, but I think that Martin just needs to air it out a little bit more, challenge those corners a little bit, and see what they can do.
How about for Salem? I know they're up 7-0 right now, but there's got to be some adjustments they could make to kind of blow this one open.
Well, if I'm correct by my statistics, we have 8 penalties for Salem right now, and that's just unacceptable. I mean, 8 penalties should be the entire ball game, not just your first half. So I think they need to be a little bit more disciplined on the defense and the offensive sides of things. But as for that, just keep the ball rolling, maybe pull the defense out a little bit more with a couple passes. But other than that, Salem's got a good game plan going.
Awesome. Well, now we'll head to a short commercial break. When we get back, we'll be back in the booth with Megan Rabb and Clay Cribbs on the call.
Hey guys, it's Brittany and Brooke. So today, guess what we're going to be talking about?
SBI.
SBI, Sports Broadcast Institute.
Yes, oh my gosh. So basically, SBI is a program that a lot of students get to be in, and we make videos all the time, and it's just really fun.
And it's at RCA, and it's where all of the 3 schools in our county get to go to that one school and participate in the program.
Yeah, we basically have a lot of fun, or now we learn.
Yeah, we learn. Okay, so now it's time for our question and answer portion.
Kendall has asked us a question on Twitter. I started video productions last year.
It wasn't like anything I did before, so it took me a minute to get used to. Like and subscribe,
and tune in next week for our next video.
And make sure you visit Rockdale Live so you can join the class next year.
They're only averaging about 9 points a game so far, so they're gonna have to increase that to win some games this year.
Right. And Makari Pruitt of Salem has kind of been playing both the rushing and receiving game in this first half. How do you think that's going to play into the second half of this game here for the Salem offense?
Well, Wilson has made a point to get him the ball in the first half, and it's paying dividends for him. He's been really electric. Laquan Williams is also playing well. 7 rushes for 72 yards and a rushing touchdown, the only touchdown of the game so far. So about a minute to go, but we'll see how this second half pans out.
Yes, and as we're waiting here for this second half to begin, what other players do you think are going to have an impact in the second half?
Well, I want to see more out of the fullback for Therrell, Hook. He's got 6 carries on 0 yards. He looks like he's playing a little bit dinged up here in the first half, but I expect him to have a decent second half and see if they can maybe get that power game going and maybe set up Martin on the pass a little bit.
Right, and one thing we have not seen so far in this game is any field goals. We saw the kicker out there for 1 play, but it did not turn out for the 3 points that they wanted.
Well, it's a pretty blustery night as well, so maybe that's kind of playing into things here. They're, maybe deciding to go for it on 4th down. We've seen a lot of 4th downs. Maybe the legs aren't as strong as they feel confident in it, but it definitely could come into it if it's 7-7 or something like that late in the second half. It might come down to a kick.
You're definitely right, and here we are about to kick off for the second half of this football game here in Conyers, Georgia.
Well, let's see if Salem can really get it going here. And at the beginning of the second half, they've had so many chances there in that first half, like we said. And honestly, in the locker room, they had to be thinking we should be up by 14 or 21 or even 28 right now. So let's see if they can begin to get it going.
This is number 24 for Therrell, Lamine Sai, to kick the ball here.
About to get this second half started.
Yep, here's the kick. The big run from number 10, that's Justin Johnson of the Seminoles.
Man, a perfect start there for Salem. I mean, wanting to get in good field position and really begin to take it to this Therrell defense. That defense is held on strong, but that's not the way you want to start coming out of the locker room if you're Therrell.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
And I mean, Donald Wilson is, like I said, has been so dynamic. He's setting up here in the shotgun, but really been the star of this team. 7 for 11 for 85 yards and 47 rushing yards, but he's getting the call from the sideline right now.
And hands off to number 10 again. That's Johnson. He's running it out to the outside and is taken down for a loss of about 2 yards.
Yeah, and I mean Johnson is, you saw his explosiveness there on the kickoff, and maybe wanted to get the ball to him again there, but bottled up there by the really solid play here so far by the Therrell defense.
Now 2nd and 9 here for the Seminoles. Handoff to 24. That's Jesse Carter.
Yeah, and there's just so many threats for this this Salem offense. I mean, you've got Laquan Williams, you've got Justin Johnson, I mean, these guys have been having explosive plays all night, but like I said, limited by the penalties, but really trying to go up tempo here.
And another handoff here to Carter, who's going to take it up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Salem coach really talked to us this week about going up tempo, trying to wear down this kind of depleted line, and you can see that coming in here in the second half. A great adjustment here to kind of work the field early.
Yes, definitely, and Carter got the first down there for the Seminoles. Wilson's going to throw it, and the pass is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, definitely a miscommunication there between Wilson and his wide receiver, Amari Jenkins. It looked like Jenkins was trying to go short, and Wilson threw it long and just obviously was not completed. But lucky that wasn't picked off by a safety or even the cornerback.
That could have changed the face of this ball game a little bit here in the second half.
Well, I mean, Therrell coming in early and kind of getting battered down quickly, that would have been a big play for him. Still trying to go up tempo here, trying to keep it quick, no huddle.
Wilson's going to hand it off to Carter again, taking it up the middle, who's brought down after about a 1, maybe 2-yard gain on that play there.
Interesting that they're continuing to go with Carter here. I mean, after the first half that Laquan Williams had, I'm surprised he's not getting the ball more early in the second half, but trying to get some other guys some looks and maybe change the pace of the game up a little bit.
Wilson dropped the ball there, so he's going to pick it up and run with it. He's running over here to the other side, trying to run around these defenders, and he gets taken down by 5 different Therrell players here.
Yeah, Wilson's played really dynamically here in the first half. There is a flag on the play. Salem's been struggling with those penalties in the first half, especially on these. Wilson's got to be kind of frustrated, saying, you know, I'm doing all this running and making plays for my team, but it's not working out. All these penalties are happening.
You're right. When we talked to the coach before the game started, he said that he was definitely going to have Wilson be a little bit more mobile during this game to kind of make up for their running offense here, to have both running and receiving yards out of him tonight. Here's the call for the penalty.
And that one's going to go on Salem, like we said. But, you know, talking about Wilson, I mean, that was kind of funny. Some of the press was asking him, you know, is he a Lamar Jackson type? Is he a Cam Newton? And the coach, Coach Law said, you know, he's kind of the JV version of that. He can do all those things, but obviously not at that level. But he's been as advertised tonight.
He definitely has. And another comment from the head coach of Salem was that he can see his thoughts in Wilson as he's playing. He can see what he's thinking about in his mind as the plays he wants to see, and Wilson is executing them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's definitely what you want out of your leader and quarterback. I mean, you know, Wilson's only started a few games for this team, but if you basically have a coach in your backfield, or not really in your huddle for Salem, you know, that's such a huge thing to kind of just project that voice outward when maybe the coach is focused on something else. Wilson is just so dynamic out of the shotgun, though. I mean, just really, really dynamic, can do anything.
Yep, here's Wilson with the ball now, dropping back. He's going to hold on to it, and he's going to throw it way downfield. It's going to be incomplete.
Really, really nice coverage there by Therrell. But, you know, Wilson had plenty of time to throw that ball, and that was another thing that the Salem coach talked to us about, is protecting his quarterback. You know, you hear that a lot, but it didn't happen there, and it's going to be 4th down, and I think Salem's going to be forced to punt it.
You're right. It's going to end up being 4th and about 20. So I think punting seems to be the best option for this team.
Yeah, I mean, and another big stop by the Therrell defense. I mean, they've got some guys playing both ways. Dingle's playing both ways. Evans playing both ways. You know, you got to think fatigue's going to begin to wear down. But right now, you know, they're holding up. Excuse me, that was 4th down. So this is actually a turnover on downs, and Therrell's offense is on the field in pretty good field position.
It'll definitely be interesting to see if they can put together a drive here that'll end in a score for them.
Yeah, and Andre Martin, like I said a little earlier, I mean, he's got to begin to get the ball out into space. They have so many playmakers out in space. If he can just get the ball to him, but that offensive line has got to hold up for him to do that. You know, maybe that means running to set up the pass or passing to set up the run, but either way, that O-line's got to hold up.
Martin with the ball now, and he's going to drop it and get on top of it to save it for his team.
Yeah, and that's just not the start you want coming out of the locker room. I mean, you're just trying to find some sort of momentum, trying to move the ball, trying to kind of just get something going for your offense, and that's not the best way to start. This team is so predicated on beginning to run the ball. Martin has a decent arm, but that run has got to set it up.
Definitely. And Martin is one of those players that they've had play running back and safety as well as quarterback. So we've seen him do a lot of different maneuvers tonight trying to advance the ball.
Yeah, playing a little bit out of position, but he's still dynamic back there.
Martin with the ball. He's going to hold on to it, and he's going to run for it. Maneuver through the middle, and is going to come down at about the 47-yard line.
I really like to see that from the Therrell team. Spread Salem out and use their speed with their quarterback to kind of maneuver around. Maybe the O-line doesn't get a huge block, but they held it up long enough to kind of begin to roll, and he picked up nice yardage there. It's 3rd down and short now.
Yeah, just 3rd and 2, and with another play like that, they could get the 1st down and be closer to scoring here.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can convert here.
Martin with the ball now.
Quarterback snuck that, yeah, and showing off not just the speed but also the power to get the 1st down there.
Yeah, that's the 1st down there for the Panthers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's big for them. I mean, only had a couple 1st downs in the first half, so just anything to get that momentum going. I mean, all of a sudden, if you get that push up front, that was a great push by the O-line. So all of a sudden, maybe you get that confidence rolling.
Martin with the ball now. He's going to hold on to it and run toward the outside, and then he's going to throw it way downfield. And it is incomplete.
Man, a really, really dangerous throw there by Martin over to his wide receiver, Evans, but lucky not to have that one picked off. That one was in traffic and double coverage and all the things you do not want to do as a quarterback. So, but lucky to have another shot at that. That might just be one he wanted to throw away.
Yeah, the receiver was in the right area, but unfortunately could not get his hands on the ball here. 2nd down and 10 to go for the Panthers here.
They're really trying to spread the ball out now. Got 4 wide, 3 to the left, just trying to create some space.
Martin drops the ball again and then kind of chucks it over this group of players in the middle.
Oh, yeah, that one's going to be recovered by the Seminoles. So just that hurts so much of your Therrell. I mean, all of a sudden trying to build that drive and keep that confidence going, and then all of a sudden turning it over like that. So the Salem defense comes up big there.
Yeah, what started off to be a decent drive for Therrell here. It was cut short by that fumble there.
Yeah, big play there by the Salem defense. And now let's see if this Therrell defense can keep it up and keep their team in the game, or if eventually playing both sides and having to play so many plays is going to wear them out. I mean, you know, it's hard playing against Wilson on every play and these dynamic playmakers on the outside on every play, especially if you're playing 60 or 70 plays instead of 30 or 35.
Wilson with the ball, he's going to hand it off to Laquan Williams. He's going to try to take it up the middle, but gets stopped short of the line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you what, Laquan Williams broke one tackle in the interior line there and almost broke another one. If he had gotten free there, he could have been off for a big gain, but he's, you know, been electric in this game and so close to maybe getting into the secondary and breaking one.
For a senior, Laquan Williams is not very tall. He is only 5'7".
Well, he's you know, small in stature but big in heart, especially tonight. He's played his heart out.
Wilson with the ball now, and he hands it off to number 3. That's Makari Pruitt, who's going to take it up the outside and run out of bounds. About the 50-yard line.
Excuse me, but I really like what Salem's doing here, trying to get the ball into the hands of their first half playmakers, the guys who are running with confidence, running with that flow, and that run picked up a 1st down. Pruitt's been really, really good tonight. I mean, had 65 in the first half on the ground, and he's moving towards you know, 100 now. So now the referee seems to be having an issue with the 1st down marker. Looked like they had converted the 1st down, and just some difficulties with the chain. So we'll see what's going on here. See if we can get an explanation from the ref.
Looks like they're about to fix the mistake here and make it 1st down.
There we go. But this is where Salem's kind of been having some issues. I mean, they move the ball, they get the first downs, they do everything they're supposed to do, and then when they get into Therrell territory, they're beginning to struggle. They're not quite there yet, but Therrell's playing really well on defense. A lot of heart from them, giving up some yards, but holding up in the red zone.
All right, Wilson with the ball, and he's going to drop back. He's going to hold on to it and run a little bit and then throw it to number 18. Tyler Smith out there is going to take it for a little bit of a run. Gets the first down there for the Seminoles.
Very, very nice play there. Got out into space over the middle of the field, and he fought for those extra yards, picking up the first down and a lot more there.
Yeah, we saw a couple plays like that ended in penalties for the Seminoles here in the first half. So if they can keep having the big plays without the penalties.
Continuing to go fast here, Salem is.
Wilson with the ball. He throws it to number 3, Makari Pruitt again. He's going to run it up the middle and past the defenders, just shy of the end zone.
Man,
another first down.
Man, I mean, what? I just talked about Pruitt, and now they've driven inside the 3, but this is where actually Salem has really struggled. Been inside the 3 3 times now, and hasn't scored from this position, so let's see if they can punch it in this time.
Wilson takes the ball and chucks it to Pruitt, who's going to take it into the end zone for a touchdown.
Man. A really, really nice run there by Pruitt. I mean, he's just been so dynamic tonight, doing it on the receiving side, doing it on the rushing side, and he gets his first touchdown tonight. Well deserved.
Definitely. We saw more receiving yards out of Pruitt in the first half, but we've seen a little bit more of the rushing side here in the second half.
That was a nice play, and we'll see if they can knock home the extra point and make it a 2-possession game now.
And the extra point is good.
So with 5:50 left to go now, Therrell's got to feel a little frustrated. I mean, they've pretty much done everything right on defense, and now they're down 2 scores, and certainly not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination, but it is going to just need to pick it up and try and score. They only average, like I said, about 9 points a game, so going to have to pick it up on offense.
Salem Seminoles football and Salem athletics.
What we're trying to do is figure out a way so that we can.
A really, really nice score there by Pruitt as he put it in. And so now we're going to go back to the kickoff and see if Therrell can get it moving.
This is Kitson Newton back to kick for the Seminoles here.
Let's see if they can get something going here in the special teams game to give their team a little bit of good field position.
This is number 2, Vassier Dingle, back for the Panthers to receive this ball. He's going to get it to about the 20 here.
Yeah, and that's not what you wanted. I mean, I know it would have been dangerous, but that ball almost rolled back into the end zone. It just took a long time for him to field that. It kind of looked like it was going to go out of bounds, so I kind of understand it, but that's not the field position that the Panthers wanted to start with, especially down 2 scores now and all the troubles they've been having on offense.
You're right, and we haven't seen much of a progressive running game from Dingle so far in this game, but hopefully that changes here in the rest of the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line began to block a little bit better there in the first half. I mean, Derek Lett, Xavier Jennings, the Salem offensive line blocked well for them, but Therrell's got to get it going on their offensive line to really begin to move the ball. Getting
ready for the first play of the drive here. Martin with the ball and hands off to Kwesi Hook. Just takes it up the middle and is brought down at the 20-yard line.
That's what I like to see from Hook. I mean, he's such a big back and so powerful that he, really likes to run in between the tackles. And he was struggling in that first half. He looked a little bit dinged up, but that was a nice run there.
Yeah, it looked to be about a 5-yard gain there for the Panthers.
Yeah, and I mean, they've really got to start getting into these second and short, third and short kind of plays to get this offense going and take a little bit of stress off of them. With that O-line, they don't want to be in obvious passing situations.
2nd and 5 here for Salem with just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Martin with the ball, and he's going to drop back, and he's going to throw it downfield, and it's incomplete with an intended receiver of number 8, DeAndre Brown.
Yeah, I mean, that I like that from Martin, trying to stretch the field out and trying to hit the big play, and but that one falls incomplete. But I like what I see there, but I honestly would have liked to see a little bit of run game there after getting that nice gain on first down to make it 3rd and 1 or 2, but now it's 3rd and 6-ish, and so going to be a challenge here to hold that offensive line up for Therrell.
Andre Martin calling there for some movement in his players on the line here before getting ready to take the snap. Martin with the ball, and he's going to run in the back and throw it to Kwesi Hook, who's going to take it for really no gain at all there.
Yeah, now it's going to be 4th down and short, and but they're in no position to go for it here. They're going to have to punt. This is a really, really pivotal point in the game for Therrell. All of a sudden, they're giving the ball back, going to give Salem the ball in good field position. Only about 16 minutes total left in this game, and so they do not want to go down 3 scores with the offense they've been putting out there today.
You're right, and the way Salem's offense has been playing with their rushers and their receivers putting up the big plays, this could be a little bit dangerous.
Well, I definitely don't expect Coach Greg Sullivan's team to quit. He's been preaching work ethic to this team over and over and over again, and they've shown that. They fought hard tonight. I don't expect them to go away.
Here's the punt from number 24.
That one was almost blocked by Kevin Bailey, Champ Bailey's son, the Georgia great.
And that punt does not even cross the midfield point here. Great field position for the Seminoles coming back out.
Yep, and you give the ball back to Donald Wilson. You've held him and you've held him and you've held him, and now he's scored in the second half, and he's that confidence of beginning to come around. And I'm very concerned if I'm the Therrell defensive staff right now.
You're right, and knowing that Wilson can throw the ball but can also run the ball is definitely a threat here for this defense.
Let's see if he gets it back to those playmakers like Pruitt and Wilson early in this drive.
Wilson with the ball, who's going to throw it to Ezekiel Dunn here, who drops the ball.
Yeah, I mean, talking more and more about confidence here. I mean, that's those ones that you're trying to put a team kind of away here. You're trying to, move deep into their territory, and those drops are just like, oh, man, you gotta pull those in. It's a cliche, but if it hits you in the hands, you gotta catch it.
Wilson takes the ball and passes it off to Jesse Carter, who's going to run through the middle and gain about 4 yards on the play here.
Yeah, seeing Carter a little bit more in the second half, I'm impressed with what he can do inside the tackles.
3rd and 6 here for the Seminoles.
Yeah, this is a big one if they can get it, but if Therrell can make a stop here, still hope in this football game, only down 14.
Wilson with the ball is going to run towards the outside, and he's going to hang on to it. He's going to keep running past the defenders. First down for the Seminoles here.
What a big play there by Wilson. He looked like he was going to be tackled about 3 or 4 times and just ran over a Therrell defender. I don't know if that's just Wilson or you could probably attribute a little bit of fatigue on the Therrell side, but I mean, what a play. Just extending the play, moving the chains, and really huge play there by Wilson.
Definitely. Wilson is really using his abilities to throw as well as to run here in this drive. Wilson with the ball, hands off to 24. That's Jesse Carter again, taking it for a couple yards.
Yeah, and you kind of see what what they're trying to do here with Salem. Salem is taking Carter, that big, powerful back, and pounding it and pounding it and pounding it, and then switching it up and giving him the speed of Wilson. Really, really good play in there. And the Therrell staff, I mean, what do you do? I mean, there's you know, these guys are so dynamic that it's hard to keep up. But they've held strong here before. Let's see if they can continue to do it.
Wilson with the ball, throws it to the outside. Could not see who that player was there.
It's going to pick up the first down, though, and tackled by a host of Therrell tacklers, but continuing to creep closer and closer to that goal line. And I'll be intrigued to see what Salem does here. I mean, Salem's kind of been dinking and dunking, and that's what Donald Wilson told us before the game, is that they were going to try and take away that high safety look and dink over the middle, and that's what they've done so far in the second half.
Wilson with the ball, he's going to drop back. He's going to hold on to it and then take a throw. Incomplete.
Man, I'll tell you, that was really, really lucky not to be picked off by Desmond Lindsay, the starting defensive back for Farrell. That was thrown into a dangerous location, but they live to see another down. 2nd and 10 now.
Yeah, Lindsay there seemed to be the only player in the area of that ball.
Yeah, and was kind of flushed out of the pocket, was kind of uncomfortable, Wilson was, which is kind of rare for him in this game, but that was good coverage by the Therrell defensive backs.
If they keep playing like that, Salem may not advance the ball any further. Wilson hands, no, he keeps the ball this time, and he's going to run for it himself. He's going to take it up the outside, and did he cross the end zone? He did. Touchdown by the quarterback here.
Wilson really, really explosive on that read option. Had the option to hand it off to his running back, pulled it back and took off, and showing speed and power there to get that one in the end zone. He really is doing it all.
You're right, and we just saw this Salem offense score less than 5 minutes ago, and here they are again, up 3 scores to nothing.
But not yet.
Getting ready for the extra point kick here. The extra point is not good.
Wait till second half. Wait.
And man, you really, really see the explosiveness of Wilson here, faking the handoff, and then it's going to take that one all the way to the house, utilizing speed and power. He really, really did a nice job there.
You're right, Wilson has definitely been showing his running game in this game so far, and nothing shy of exciting there on that play for this Seminole offense here in their home stadium.
Well, you have to really give the credit to the offensive line as well. I mean, Lett, Jennings, Lee, Lawson, and McDaniel up front doing a nice job keeping him contained. So we're back live here for the kickoff. Salem is doing a really, really nice job on the ground tonight. 208 total rushing yards and 141 passing yards, doing a nice job of keeping it balanced on offense and keeping that Therrell defense off their toes. On their toes. So it's 20-0 now. I'll be intrigued to see if that missed extra point might come into play. It's 20-0 if Therrell can start kind of moving the ball, but we're ready for the kick.
Gets a Newton here for the kickoff. With number 1 to catch the ball here. It's Daquan Evans who's going to run for it. Gets a pretty decent run here after the reception. About the 35-yard line for the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, Evans is doing a really nice job, and the Therrell coaching staff talked about him and singled him out as a really nice playmaker. He's playing on both sides, like we said, and he's showing that if he can get into space, he can really, really be explosive. Martin needs to try and get him the ball.
You're right, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard, though, to get these passes play off with a player like Kevon Bailey in the secondary, the junior for Salem. He's really, really explosive and also the son of Champ Bailey. So, that doesn't hurt. He's got a couple of college offers, Florida Atlantic with Lane Kiffin staff in Louisville. So we'll see if he can begin to, if Martin can throw away from him and get it moving. But looks like there's a penalty there.
Yet another flag thrown here in this game. We've seen several of those on both sides of the ball at this point.
Yeah, and Coach Sullivan, who's preaching work ethic, preaching discipline, not going to be pleased with that one. That one's going to move them back. It looks like it's going to be a false start.
And Donald Wilson for Salem has now 84 yards of rushing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's huge for them. But all of a sudden, Therrell trying to move the ball, getting really, really nice field position, and then all of a sudden getting the penalty and making it 1st and 15. That's hard for him.
You're right. Martin with the ball here. He's going to throw to the outside for an incomplete to the Seminole sidelines here.
Man, and I was just talking about Bailey, and he came on the blitz there and really, really disrupted Martin. Had to get that ball away quickly, and you saw it fall incomplete. Really, really doing a nice job mixing up the coverages, mixing up the blitzes, trying to make him feel uncomfortable. He's looked uncomfortable. I'm sure he's felt uncomfortable tonight, and it showed. I mean, they're being shut out.
Yeah, definitely putting some pressure on Martin here, getting him outside the pocket a little bit, getting him a little bit uncomfortable where he has to scramble and then do a quick pass that ends up incomplete here. Just about a minute to go here. 2nd down to set number 1, Daquan Evans again, or
yeah, I mean, it's this third quarter kind of against a roll down. I mean, this drive for I feel like Therrell to have any chance to stay in this football game has got to end up in a touchdown. Make this a 2-possession game. Make your guys believe that they can score, but they've got to get it moving. Only 32 seconds left here in the third.
Martin with the ball, and he's going to throw away to the outside, and it's going to be another incomplete.
Yeah, that was not a good decision by Martin or a good throw. I mean, that one was lobbed up into the air and really just had no chance for his wide receiver Stevenson to get to it. I mean, just did not look good. Not a good 3rd down decision, and so faced with another 4th down, all of a sudden they're going to go for it. Or excuse me, they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, the last incomplete pass we saw was to the same intended receiver with the same defensive coverage. So just another repeated play here.
Yeah, I mean, this, all of a sudden Salem's going to get the ball again, up 3 scores. I'm honestly surprised they're not thinking about going for it here. I mean, they are in their own field position, in their own side, but got to think about it maybe.
Here's the punt. This is number 10 with the ball here. Justin Johnson gets to about the 50-yard line.
Yeah, there's a couple penalties on this play, though. I think both of those are going to be on the Seminoles, so this one very well could be coming back. Yeah, that one is going to be on the Seminoles. 2 penalty flags were actually thrown there. I'm not sure if it's 2 fouls or if it's only 1. We'll see what the referee says here.
Yeah, definitely a loss of yards here from where he ended up with the ball. But if you're already up by 20 points, how much does that really hurt you?
Well, that one is going to be holding, and it's going to push them back 10 yards. But it does hurt. I mean, when you're up 20 and trying to put this game away, and all of a sudden great field position becomes average field position, it could be big.
Shakira and them are in the shot. Tell them everybody move back.
Looks like the referees are still discussing that previous play here.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion with those 2 fouls that both came out. They only indicated it was going to be holding on Salem. Salem's had a lot of penalties tonight, tracking towards 100 yards on the night. And even though you're up 20-0, maybe against a more talented opponent, you cannot have that. You've got to play discipline. And, that's something that Coach Laws really wants to instill into his team, especially as they try and make a run towards state playoffs. They were so close last year and just could not quite just couldn't quite get it done. Eliminated in the last game of the season.
And they're going to move the chains back here to about the 24-yard line in Salem territory.
Yeah, I mean, could be good, could be bad for Salem. If they can make a big drive here and wind down this clock, it could really put Therrell away. But obviously you don't want to start further back in your own territory. Johnson in motion.
Waiting for the play call here. Wilson with the ball, and he's going to drop back to throw it to Johnson. Gets to about the 33-yard line here.
Yeah, that'll be the last play of the quarter, and so 20-0 here at Seminole Field.
And we're going to throw it down to Torrey. We're going to throw it down to Torrey McElhaney on the sideline for an update on the game.
Thanks, guys. So in the last few minutes of the third quarter, you saw Salem quarterback Donald Wilson take the ball in for a touchdown on a run. That was a 27-yard touchdown run for Wilson. Now, we talked to Wilson before the game, and he said to be on the lookout for a lot of passing game in tonight's game. That Therrell's defense was really quick, but they left a lot of things open in the backfield for a pass game. Well, that changed in the first half when Salem recorded 131 total rushing yards. They added on more to that in the third, now has 208 total rushing yards. What Salem might not know that the Farrell defense has really been struggling all week, trying not to be tired, because I talked to Coach Sullivan on Wednesday. He said that the defense was having a hard time battling a sickness that was going around. He said that both line were hit hard by the sickness. So Farrell might be looking at a harder time in this fourth quarter, trying to stay up and remain excited with a 21-0 score. I'll send it back up to you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Tori, for that update on the game here from the sideline. We are back in action here, about to start the fourth quarter with Salem leading 20-0 here at their home stadium.
Yeah, real uphill battle here for Therrell with that line situation and Wilson playing so well.
Wilson with the ball. He's going to hang on to it. Looked like he was going to try to throw it, but the defense got to him first.
Yeah, Wilson goes down there, and just as we talked about all the issues that the Therrell line has, all of a sudden they show up and make a big play. So trying to hang around. They've hung around all night, and maybe they can keep that spark going and maybe get something going and try and get back into this football game. I mean, they're down 3 scores, but stuff like that's going to make it work. Big third down here for that defense to get off the field.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was that the first sack of the night on Wilson?
I believe so. I mean, it was definitely the first penetration sack where they've gotten back there. Maybe one from him running around, but he's that's the first penetration sack that I've seen.
Wilson takes the ball again. He's going to throw it to 18, who goes straight down. That's Tyler Smith there on the outside.
Smith has become a lot more active here in the second half. I think they're going to be short of the first down there, so I'm assuming Salem's going to go ahead and punt. It looks like Smith has gone down with an injury.
Yeah, Smith's not getting up here. Not sure exactly what happened there.
Yeah, it very well. I mean, in this Georgia heat, it's a little bit nicer tonight, but it very well could be cramps, kind of holding that leg, and yeah, he gets right up there. So hoping he's going to be okay.
He's definitely limping and hobbling off the field, but kind of picks it up to a little bit of a jog. So hopefully we'll see him back in action here pretty soon.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they do have so many weapons that they can, utilize to score in this football game, but they're about to give it over to this Therrell offense, who is just going to get good field position and try and get something going. Daquan Evans back to receive here.
Yeah, 4th and short here for the Seminoles, and they're going to punt it away.
I'll tell you, if Evans can get loose on a punt like this, he could go all the way. He's so explosive. We've seen it on the kickoffs. And Therrell certainly needs it now. Down 20 with about 10.5 to go.
The punt is away from number 1. It's Kevon Bailey back there, punted that ball.
Yeah, trying to keep the ball away from Daquan Evans there, trying to just take the ball out of his hands, and a smart move there by Salem. Maybe they give up a little bit of field position, but take away that big play opportunity and say, hey, Therrell, if you're going to score on us, you're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. You're not going to do it through Daquan Evans.
You're right, and they're going to bring the Therrell offense back out to see if they can finally make some moves towards the end zone and get some points on this board here.
Yeah, and Andre Martin is continuing to struggle. I mean, he is 8 for 15, but only 48 yards passing. I know this is a more run-oriented offense, but with that line, he is struggling. He's really going to need to pick it up and throw the ball, especially here in this fourth quarter.
First and 10 at the beginning of the drive here. Martin with the ball, and he hands off, who is immediately taken down. Oh, he actually still had the ball. Threw it for an incomplete down there.
Yeah, but deadly play action here. I think everyone in the stands thought that was taken by the fullback, but it was play action, but there's going to be a penalty on the Panthers here. So, even though that ball, wasn't a worst case scenario where he got tackled, it's still going to be first and long, which it seems like that's happened a lot tonight. I mean, they've gotten good field position a couple of times, gotten a chance to get back into the football game, and then penalties shooting themselves in the foot. That's something that Coach Sullivan is really trying to kind of plague from this team, play a lot more discipline, have a lot more work ethic, and penalties will kill you every time.
Definitely, and that was a very aggressive play from that defensive line there. He was on him very quickly, even though he did not actually have the ball in his hand. And they're going to move the line of scrimmage back here because of that flag that was thrown.
Yeah, it was a personal foul there from the spot of the foul. So a really, really big loss there. I mean, you're talking now all of a sudden a first and 30 instead of a first and 10.
Yeah, and for this Therrell offense that has really been struggling so far in this game, that is definitely not good here in this fourth quarter. Martin with the ball, he's going to hold on to it and kind of pitch it out to his outside to Kwesi Hook, who gets his hands on the ball.
Well, you're seeing Salem really starting to kind of drop back here, and especially on a first and 30, say, we'll give you the dinks and dunks. They only rushed 3. But they're saying, you're not just going to beat us on a one-on-one play deep. You're going to have to get it bit by bit. Very smart there. They know that Martin's not really as comfortable passing the ball, and so going to force him to kind of play to his demons there.
Yeah, definitely. There seemed to be a little bit of confusion about where the line of scrimmage was to start this play, but I think we got it figured out now.
Incomplete pass. It shouldn't have been any confusion about it, but we've got it all set now.
Martin takes the snap, looks for his receiver, and throws it down the line to Daquan Evans, who catches it nicely.
And what a throw there by Martin over the top Evans. We've talked about Evans having that potential to be a playmaker, and then all of a sudden converting that second down and 30. So I was actually watching that play. That was really nice coverage by the defensive back, but Evans just ran, kind of pushed past him and got free. That was an incredible catch.
That's definitely what this offense needed here to get the first down and to continue this drive forward towards the end zone to hopefully put some points up on the board. Martin takes the snap. He's going to hold on to it and start it up the middle, but there's a flag thrown here.
Yeah, the Therrell wide receiver, I believe it was number 7, Devon Reeves there. I believe he's the one that got caught for the false start, so that'll drive him back 5 yards. And man, I mean, I just talked about this a few minutes ago, but get something big going, get confidence moving if you're Therrell, and then all of a sudden a penalty comes in and kills you. So first and 15, they just converted a second and 30, so obviously not impossible, but that was Therrell's 53. There's 53 yards now that they've had penalty-wise. That's huge.
Getting ready for the next play here. Martin takes the snap and holds on to it, running towards the Seminole defense sideline. He's going to throw it incomplete, way downfield.
Yeah, and I mean, that honestly was pretty smart. Didn't really have anybody open, and I mean, was very careful there to throw it at least over his receiver to avoid an intentional grounding call. You have to have a receiver close to you in high school, so a smart play there to keep the play alive. It's 2nd and 15 now.
Yeah, but just threw it too far for his receivers. They're going to call a timeout here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with 9 minutes to go, 9-10 left, Therrell's just has to score here. I mean, absolutely has to. And then have enough time to throw it over your defense, try and score again, and then maybe you have to go into kind of a onside kick mode here to have a chance. They're going to have to play essentially a perfect game coming down the stretch here.
Yeah, we just saw them convert a 2nd and 30 to a first down. Can they convert the 2nd and 14 here?
I mean, you know, obviously they can. I mean, they have the guys to do it, especially if they can get it to someone like Evans or Dingle out, in space. But, yeah, this Salem defense has played well, obviously pitching a shutout and has used their stars well. They've used Nick Helvey. They've used Kevon Daly. They've used A.J. McCorkle, you know, the team captain and 2 guys with offers from Florida Atlantic and Louisville. So, you know, using those stars well in this defensive struggle here.
Play is going to resume here. Andre Martin takes the snap, runs it outside. He's going to hold on to it and run for it. He's going to get past the defenders here. He gets the first down for the Panthers.
And even more than that, takes it deep into Seminole territory. And then Martin finally found a hole. That line collapsed immediately, but he just took off, and everybody was kind of heading deep, freed up some space, and then all of a sudden it was, he was free. So.
Yeah, it was a great rush there by Andre Martin.
Yeah, and you can
ran through that defensive line.
Well, you can see it here. The offensive line breaks down, and then all of a sudden he just takes off and scoots down inside the 10. Just really, really powerful, and looks like we're gonna have another stoppage of play here with Salem calling a timeout.
It's definitely the type of play you want to see from a senior leader on your offense.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's a fighter. I mean, definitely. I mean, the coach talked about him. He's kind of playing out of position. They're kind of grooming their freshman quarterback to come in and take the reins. But you know, he's a third-year starter now. I mean, trying to really, really work that in, and you know, he's trying to keep his team in the ball game.
They're going to call another timeout here on the field with 8:47 left to play in this entire football game here.
So, yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, a really, really good chance here for Therrell to get back into the game and have a chance to finally break this streak that they're dealing with. Down 20-0. But if they can score here, they're back in the football game. And, I mean, you know, even if they don't win this football game, I mean, they're building. I mean, they lost a close game to Salem last year, but I mean, I can just see that this team is fighting. They're continuing to fight hard. They haven't made the playoffs. They haven't had a winning record since 2002. So a really, really uphill battle here for Coach Sullivan to rebuild this program. But there's talent on this football team. They have a chance. Let's see if they can cash it in here.
Line it back up to play the next drive here. Martin takes the snap and throws it out to Daquan Evans in the end zone. That is a touchdown. Farrell here.
Man, I mean, what a great touchdown look there. I mean, we talked about Evans all night as a difference maker in this football game, and then all of a sudden he makes the big catch there, convert the 2nd and 30, and then he scores. So the shutout is broken for Therrell.
And, yeah, Evans was able to jump up clean, catch the ball, and then come back down and land with nobody around him.
So all of a sudden this extra point kind of comes into a big play, but here's the touchdown throw from the quarterback to Evans, and you see there he pulls it in and really gets up high and makes a nice vertical leap and catches the ball. So, but like I was saying, it's 20-6 now. This extra point means a lot. I mean, the missed extra point from Salem can mean a lot, and Therrell needs to cash in on these points to try and make it a 13-point game.
There's just a flag thrown here as they got ready to kick the extra point. Encroachment on the Seminoles here.
So yeah, gonna make this kick a little bit easier if you're Therrell, but I mean if they can make it 20-7 and kind of gain that confidence, maybe get a stop on defense, you never know. I mean, it's a good chance for them.
Getting ready for the extra point here, and the extra point is good. It's now 20-7. The Seminoles still leading here.
So yeah, here's that touchdown from over to Evans, and he pulls it in and really makes a nice catch there. So 20-7 now, Salem leading with 8:40 to go.
And when they put that 7 up there on the scoreboard, they accidentally hit 7-7, so it showed that the score was 77-20, which is definitely not the score of this game right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the offensive struggles that Therrell has had, if you told me they scored 77 points, I'd be pretty surprised. But I mean, there's still 8 minutes left. They could score 70 points. You never know.
That would also just mean a much faster paced game than we have seen if there were 97 points scored in this game.
We missed a lot during that replay. They scored 70 more points.
Getting ready for the kickoff here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely look for an onside kick here. The Salem hands team is kind of on here. Have some more guys up front just to kind of protect against it. Not a full hands team, but guys up near the front trying to prevent against a surprise onside kick.
This is number 24, side back to kick here for the Panthers.
And even if they don't do the onside kick here, let's see if they, we'll see if they play the onside game, or they try and play the field position game. I'll be intrigued to see what decision Coach Sullivan makes.
And here's the kick. And they went for a full kick this time. It's caught by number 1 back there. It's Kevon Bailey, as we've mentioned before.
Yeah, and not the greatest kick in the world, but good enough. Good enough field position for Therrell's defense to kind of have some hope if they can make a stop here. Definitely try and get a 3 and out and see what they can do.
We're going to see some more action out of Donald Wilson here for the Seminole offense. It's got 8:30 left to go in the 4th quarter of this game at home.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty good crowd here tonight. It was kind of a late falling in crowd, but they've made their presence. No, the bands have been really loud tonight. Not even with their instruments. The Therrell band was really making some noise earlier.
Wilson with the ball, and he hands off to Amarius Burnham in the backfield, who runs up the middle.
Yeah, Burnham's another guy that plays both ways. He's a real threat on defense, but you can kind of see what he's doing here on offense. I mean, moving the pile forward, picking up 4 there, and I expect to see a little bit more of this. Continue to run the ball, run the clock. But Therrell's going to have to either start considering using timeouts or trying to get a 3 and out here. Yeah, if they definitely don't get the 3 and out, they'll have to call some timeouts.
You're right.
Burnham again, kind of moving the pile forward there. I mean, all of a sudden it's a 3rd and short. Now all of a sudden Therrell has a chance if they can make a stop here, force a punt. They can get the ball back and make this a 1-possession game. It would not surprise me to see a blitz here.
Wilson with the ball, and he's going to take it, try to go up the middle, but can't find a way, so he takes it to the outside and gets past the defender, then runs it outside.
Yeah, man, I mean, I was definitely right. They did indeed bring the blitz, but the read option played really, really well there by Wilson, and breaks it to the outside, makes a wonderful play to pick up the first down. Late flag coming in on the Salem sideline, though. We'll see what this is.
Yeah, and they have not moved the chains yet, so maybe they're waiting to see what this penalty is and how it's going to affect the line of scrimmage here.
Yeah, and that one's going to be a late dead ball kind of play there on Therrell. So the big game by Wilson amplified by that, and they're going to move the chains and move the ball even further. Getting an injury update from the sideline. Therrell's QB, Andre Martin, is having some issues breathing, so questionable to return. But obviously, after leading his team down the field there, you have all the respect in the world for that kid. Hope he does okay. We'll keep you posted if we get any more updates.
The line of scrimmage has now moved to the 29-yard line here. Wilson hands the ball off to Burnham again.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting to see how Salem has kind of stacked these runs out for their running backs. I mean, in the first half, it was all about Laquan Williams, and he was running the ball, and then we're seeing Burnham get into the action a little bit more in the second half. We're seeing, kind of almost by quarter, guys are getting carries. That's really intriguing to me, and just trying to keep those fresh legs out there to wear out this Therrell defensive line.
Hands off again to Burnham here, who takes it up the middle. He's going to try to fight through the defenders and gets it to about the 10-yard line here.
And you're starting to kind of see it now. I mean, Therrell's really getting tired. I mean, that was way too easy for Burnham, streaking down inside the red zone, down to the 11. So with just over 6 minutes to go here, you figure that Therrell's got to get a stop here.
Amarius Burnham is the younger brother of Demorial Burnham, who is a former player here, who signed with Indiana University as a 3-star recruit.
And his brother doing him good there. He's going to scamper into the end zone, 11-yard rush, and it's going to make it 26-7 Salem.
Yeah, this drive definitely used Burnham a lot more than we've seen him play so far in this game.
And why not? I mean, there's, that's the advantage of having all these different threats on offense. Excuse me, but he did well there to kind of break through the line and score.
They're going to set up here for the extra point kick. Now they missed the last one. Let's see if they can get this point up on the board here. Oh, and they're going to fake it and try to throw it for a 2-point conversion. There's a big group of players there, and they're going to call it no good.
An interesting ploy there. I don't believe that he was rushed or anything. That seemed to be planned, so a really interesting play.
Yeah, but fortunately for Salem, they're already up 26-7.
You see the Burnham run here, just really, really explosive, and just running through that depleted Therrell line. I mean, he's just like his brother, making people proud. I mean, you never know. Maybe he's going to get some college offers here as well.
Definitely what you want to see out of a junior who could return next year and have some more big games, as well as the rest of the season.
We got another injury update from the sideline, this time from the Salem bench. Ramel Logan, number 22, he is out for the game. Had a hard hit and kind of shaken up, so they're being a little bit more careful with him, but losing a starting linebacker, never good. Hopefully he's going to be okay. We'll keep you posted if we hear anything about him or Martin.
Kitson Newton setting himself up here for this kickoff with Daquan Evans and Cavossier Dingle back there in the backfield ready to receive this kick.
We'll see if they kick it away from Dingle. They did on that punt earlier, but we'll see if they drop it out, or excuse me, if they kick it away from him.
Here's the kick. Daquan Evans is going to take it. He's going to start running towards the middle. Can't find a way, so he's going to do a quick little spin. Kind of falls, picks himself back up, goes back through the middle, and is taken down at about the 32-yard line.
Evans setting his team up again in good field position. I mean, setting up around the 32 or 33-yard line now, and maybe the 19-point deficit with 6 minutes to go. Looking a little bleak for Therrell, but in a rebuilding season like this, trying to move forward, every good play, every point, every score matters, and keeping that confidence and getting your team to kind of buy into your vision. So, I definitely would not expect Coach Sullivan's team to falter here and kind of lay down. I would expect them to continue to go hard.
This is Daquan Evans filling in the quarterback position here. He's going to hold on to the ball and run with it. and take it to about the 41-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, now we were all kind of curious of if Martin went out of the game, what was going to happen. I mean, Martin is kind of already their substitute quarterback. Obviously has the skill set to play quarterback, but what are they going to do? And so they just say, hey, we're going to give it to our best athlete, give it to Daquan Evans and let him run the show. And so probably going to be a little bit more talented with his legs than he will be with his arm, but we'll see if they decide to let him air it out.
It looked like he was about ready to throw the ball, but then decided just to hang on to it himself and run for it.
Yeah, I mean, this, just like Martin, I mean, definitely a dual threat. When you put an athlete like that, he can definitely run the ball. We'll see if he airs it out here. They're definitely going to need to air it out, too.
Evans again with the ball here. He's going to hold on to it again, this time going to the other side. And again, looks like he's going to throw it and then just holds on to it himself as he's brought down at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, people saying here in the press box, Evans should have thrown that one away, and no doubt he should have. I mean, there's no reason to take that sack there and risk yourself. Just throw that thing away and live to see another day. But, I mean, that's, you know, what you get out of someone who steps in for, that's their second play of playing quarterback in the game. Just, that's not his skill set. He wants to try and make a big play. That's what he does. And so maybe that's why he didn't throw that one away there.
Yeah, definitely, you're right. And filling in for quarterback here as his team is down by 19 points here in the fourth quarter of this game. He wanted to get some more action, get some more yards, advance the ball, and increase his drive a little bit.
Definitely a struggle. 4 minutes to go, 19 down. I mean, just third-string quarterback. Really, really tough here for Therrell.
Evans shifting his lineup a little bit. He takes the snap, and he is going to throw this one. He throws it deep, and it is incomplete.
Yeah, it was really, really nice coverage there by the Salem secondary. I believe that was number 8, Sultan Williams, back there on the coverage, as well as number 16.
Aaron McCann.
Yeah, so you know, throwing it away from, you know, kind of Bailey's side of the field, but really nice coverage there by the Salem secondary. That was a good throw by Evans. I mean, deep, had a little bit of arm strength there, so that option is there, but it'll be 4th down. It looks like they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, it is 4th and short, but the way this offense has been playing, and especially with Martin out right now, they're going to go for the punt here.
Yeah, with 4 minutes to go, I mean, almost just kind of want to lick your wounds and rebuild for the next game.
Side back for the punt again. Pretty good punt.
Oh, that hit off a Salem defender, I believe, so that's going to be recovered by Farrell, it appears, and they're going to have the ball, I believe. Let's see what the official says, but it certainly looked that way.
There are 2 different officials calling it the Salem ball, with a bunch of the Therrell players saying, no, it's our ball.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of hard to see from up here, but that certainly appeared to me to hit a Salem player, and then Therrell throw it in. Now they're celebrating as if they did get it.
It must be their ball.
And it is. The official confirms that. So, man, I mean, a nice break there, and all of a sudden you can kind of try and score some more points, get a little bit of confidence with only 3:46 left. Probably too little, too late, but that's good. I mean, get a turnover, build the confidence, continue to build as a team. That's a really, really good play there for Therrell.
Definitely, and this is the best field position that Therrell has started on all night, so maybe they can make something out of it even with the short time.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously you're probably not going to get too fancy with things. I mean, like I said, dealing with the line issues they've been having and the quarterback issues now with Evans in, but yeah, I mean, they certainly can score again. They have great field position here at the 35.
We see Daquan Evans coming back out here in the quarterback position for this Panther offense here. He takes the snap and he's going to run for it toward the outside. He takes a hit, stands up. Oh, and he's taken down at the 40-yard line, so not much of a gain there at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a loss.
Yeah, there's no quitting Evans. I mean, bouncing off guys, trying to make something happen, even with 3 minutes to go. But that line is just not blocking well enough. The defensive line for Salem has played really, really well. I mean, they've been dominating up front, even with this kind of weakened offensive line. I mean, Bolton's played well, Maxwell's played well. All those guys have played well up front and made it really, really hard on this Therrell team. 2nd down and long here.
with just under 3 minutes now to play here. Evans takes the ball and runs for it. Up the middle and
staying
still
on his
running.
feet.
He gets the first down here for the Panthers.
Man, that was a really, really neat play call there. I mean, ran out to the left, faked the kind of speed option feel, and then he continued to take off, bouncing off guys. I mean, that's what I've talked about all game, is he is just so electric and can bounce off people. For the rest of the season, they've got to find ways to get him this ball, whether it be through the passing game, even running the ball, jet sweeps, things like that. He's too dynamic not to have as many touches. I mean, in the first half, I think he had 2 touches. That's not going to get it done offensively.
You're right, and from up here in the press box, it doesn't look like he's a very big guy, but the way he just maneuvers his way around the field is really what's propelling this offense right now. Evans takes a snap. He's going to throw it long. And it is incomplete. He was aiming for the end zone there, number 11. It's Tyron Stevenson.
Yeah, Artemis McCorkle again. The juniors, so many good juniors on this football team for Salem. A lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores. That's the second time we've called McCorkle here in the last probably 5 minutes. I mean, kids playing nice coverage out there. And that was just him, single coverage. Really, really nice play there.
Definitely so. Still second down here. Evans takes the snap and runs towards the outside. He's going to throw it towards the end zone again. And another incomplete pass.
Yeah, and that one was knocked away by our old friend Kevon Bailey. Really, really good coverage. The wide receiver for Therrell had a great chance to catch that one, but Bailey kind of showing that shadow of his father, making a big hit, knocking it free.
Yeah, number 7, Rashawn Pruitt was the intended receiver there, and it looked like he may have gotten his hands on a little piece of that ball before it was knocked away.
Yeah, I know. On this third down, I mean, you know, this play may not be vital to the game, but for something in the season, this is big for Therrell. Let's see what they can do with it.
Evans with the ball. He's going to throw it again, and another incomplete pass here on this drive.
Yeah, Tyron Stevenson has got to come down with that one. I mean, that's a first down catch. That could have been a touchdown catch. That's happened a couple times. I mean, the Therrell quarterbacks have thrown the ball into good spaces, and the guys have just not been able to pull it down. One early in the first half could have been a long touchdown pass, and that could have been a touchdown as well. When you're trying to change the culture of a team, you've got to make plays like that and take advantage.
It looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th and 10 with Evans still in this quarterback position here. He's going to take it. He's going to run for it himself this time. He's not going to get very far. He's taken back.
Yeah, that'll be a turnover on downs. I mean, Evans is just trying to do a little bit too much there, and that didn't appear to be a called run. It appeared to be a pass that kind of Evans just took off on. And so I would like Evans. I know that's not really his forte of staying in the pocket, but not really a trained quarterback. But I would like to see him stay in the pocket and deliver that one.
He did the best that he could in this situation, and it just did not pan out the way that this offense would have wanted.
Yeah, it was his 4th incomplete pass. I mean, asking a lot of him to come in and drive your team down the field, considering he's more of a cornerback and wide receiver guy. But I was actually impressed by Evans. I thought he held his own out there.
It looked like he had a pretty good arm. He was just not connecting.
Yeah, and we have a new quarterback out on the field for Salem as well. He's setting up in the pistol, ready to go.
This is, I believe, Chandler Thomas. It is. He hands it off to number 2, Marius Burnham again.
The fourth quarter man. He's really, really playing well here in the second half. But Thomas played a little bit last week, scored for Salem, so a really, really good chance for him to get into this game with this team up 19 with 2 minutes to go, kind of building for the future, trying to get some reps for Thomas, the senior. Getting on the field as a senior, really, really cool.
Thomas hands the ball off, but it is dropped, and it looks like it's recovered by Farrell here.
Let's see if we can get eyes on it from the refs, and that one was indeed recovered by Therrell. So 2 late turnovers here by Salem, and even though they're winning the game, Coach Jarrett Laws isn't going to be happy with that. Would obviously want them to finish the game strong, finish the game cleanly. So that's a struggle.
That is good news, however, for the Panthers, who may have thought that their offensive game was over given the short amount of time left on the clock here with only 1 minute and 22 seconds left to play in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they get one more chance to kind of do those things I was talking about earlier, build confidence for the next game. But starting out 0-3 for Therrell, that's going to be a tough uphill battle to climb to get in the playoffs. But region play is coming up. They have a chance to really set the tone there.
Evans back as the quarterback. He's going to throw it to the outside, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended receiver of number 10, Brian Glenn, out there on the outside.
Yeah, both Glenn and Stevenson out there, kind of, it looked like definitely some miscommunication. Stevenson was kind of looking at Glenn saying, what happened there? And I don't know if that was just the inexperience of Evans trying to, maybe they were in the wrong play call or maybe somebody didn't get the communication, but definitely some kind of miscommunication there between the quarterback and the wide receivers.
Evans takes the ball, and he's going to try to run it and then throws it to Quessy Hook, who's going to run it here. And that was a very hard hit. Evans is still on the ground, slow to get up, and is actually helped up by a Seminole player.
Yeah, really, really nice there by Nick Helvey, the team captain, to help him up. But I was very concerned for Evans for a minute. And honestly, if I'm Coach Sullivan, I mean, just get these guys out of the game. I mean, there's no need for your star player to be hit like that. And you're seeing the replay, but I mean, just a huge hit there. You don't want one of your star players to get hit like that down 19 with 30 seconds to go.
Third down here, and he's going to throw it deep, and it's going to be incomplete outside of the end zone.
Yeah, really kind of ill-advised pass there, just kind of throwing up a prayer into double coverage. But now it's fourth down for Therrell, kind of their last chance with only 18 seconds to go to at least move the chains here. But maybe their last play of the ball game.
I'm still trying to figure out how Daquan Evans got the ball out of his hand on the play we saw before this. He was on his way to the ground and tossed it up in the air, and Quessy Hook just happened to be there to catch the ball. That was really impressive here. Evans with the ball, he's going to try to throw it again, and it is almost intercepted by Kevon Bailey here, but another incomplete pass. Evans has not yet completed a pass as quarterback here.
Yeah, I mean, another turnover on downs, and that should be the end of the ball game. But as soon as the Salem team takes a knee here, that should be the end of the ball game. So yeah, the victory formation here for Salem gonna finish up a really solid game for them. I mean, their stars really shine tonight.
Definitely, we saw a lot of different players get some rushing yards, receiving yards, and a couple that had both, and really put together the offense here for the Seminoles in this home game for them.
Yeah, and that's going to take a knee there for their quarterback, and so the clock is going to wind down here, and that's going to be the end of the game.
Yep, that is the end of the game here at Seminole Stadium with a final score of 26-7 with the Seminoles taking the win here.
Yeah, so I mean, let's kind of talk about the next couple games for both of these teams. I mean, Salem moving to 1-1 here. Their next games against Miller Grove, against against Chamblee, Woodward Academy. They had to play Lula. They had to play Henry County. So I think this is a big game for them to kind of begin to move into some confidence trying to get back to the state playoffs. They made the state playoffs a couple years ago, and have a chance to do that. For Therrell, I mean, they moved to 0-3. Obviously, kind of an uphill battle for them. I mean, they have McNair coming up, KIPP Atlanta Collegiate, the Business Engineering Science and Tech School, South Atlanta, and Douglas for them. So, they obviously a tough start to the season, but I can see where with the playmakers they have, they could be improved this year. they can move into region play and maybe start to kind of move up the region standings.
There were definitely some plays during tonight's game that showed the hope that this team has looking forward to the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll see that in the next couple weeks as the season continues to unfold, really for both teams, for Salem and for Therrell here. They really had some plays that looked phenomenal and just need to be put together with more of them into a longer game.
Well, yeah, I mean, and there were plays where they played really well, and then there were plays where they could have changed the ball game. I mean, I know in the first half, Martin threw a deep pass that was just straight up dropped, would have been a touchdown. Another one late here in the game. I know that Coach Sullivan is going to be preaching that next week of, hey guys, if we're going to change the face of this culture, if we're going to change the face of this football team and make people respect us as an opponent, we're going to have to cash in on plays like that. So, but I think that says for them, hey, like we are executing, we're doing well, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We just got to execute and finish strong. But Salem, really looks like a good football team that can move forward and make a hunt for the state playoffs.
Definitely, and as you mentioned, there were several big plays that just were not executed to the best of their abilities. But also, we saw that with a bunch of these penalties too. Big throws or big runs that were taken back by the penalties that cost both teams many yards in tonight's game that could have changed, the way the game was played. Maybe not necessarily the score, but just how each team feels about the way they played tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and that's good for Coach Laws, honestly. I mean, you obviously don't want the penalties, but it's something to talk about in practice. I mean, it's kind of easy once you win a game. You score points, you play well to focus on that and get a little complacent. But Coach Laws now has something to talk about on Monday and say, hey, guys, like, we didn't play a perfect game. When we play teams that are, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, have one loss or are undefeated, that's not going to fly. We're going to have to play really well against those teams and play perfect almost to beat them, and giving up almost 100 yards in penalties isn't going to do that for them.
Definitely, and actually for Salem, the first 3 penalties they had was false start, and that's something you can easily talk to your guys about in practice. Don't leave the line early, and you won't get the penalty yards for that. I mean, it's as simple as that. It may not be as easy to execute, but they could definitely have saved themselves some penalty yards if they just stayed on the line until it was time to go.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're unforced errors. I mean, you talk about in tennis an unforced error. It's not like some guy had you beat and you pulled him down to have a pass interference. All of a sudden, you had these unforced errors that you can fix easily.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here, and we're going to send it down to Tori McElhaney first, and then we're going to go down to Tori McElhaney on the sideline. I'm Megan Robb, and this is my color analyst, Clay Cribbs, signing off here.
Good night.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
The students of the Sports Broadcast Institute have an unquenchable thirst to make real, relevant work. Commercials for your business might be the water these students need to survive. In addition to helping them create videos they care about, you'll also give them equipment to make videos they want to make.
Help me and my fellow students get a step closer to professionalism.
And become a part of more commercials like this one.
I'm Daryl Jefferson.
And I'm Michael Sly. And for more information, visit rock.live.com/sponsor.
Monday mornings are tough for high school students, but 7:30 on Monday morning is tough for everyone, except Salem Seminoles head coach Jarrett Laws. Each Monday, he meets his players for a unique tradition.
Under and pinch it, over your fingers, loop, and poke it. Yeah, you guys are going straight first period. Hang on a second, freshman, I got you. You remember how to tie it? Yeah. All right. My man. My guys wear shirts and ties. It's hard for you to know if you're not on Twitter.
Long before the lights of Friday night, Coach Laws begins preparing his players for the week.
We call it Business Mondays. One of the things that I noticed a long time ago is we have to get our kids in tune with wanting to address Mondays and attack it with the same fervor that they would attack a Friday. So in other programs, they try and make the Friday special, but for us, it's the beginning of the work week. So we're going to make Monday special, and in doing so, we're going to make sure that our guys look the part, dress the part, act the part, so that we can get our week started off the right way. Fold your collar up real nice. People talk about being a student athlete. My guys are really student athletes. All right. We want to make sure our guys are sitting at the front of the class. We want to make sure our guys are being identified for getting their education as well as playing ball.
This Friday, Salem opens their 2017 season at crosstown rival Heritage. But for today, the Seminoles.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration.
That's a wrap from Seminole 26, Therrell 7. What'd you think of this one tonight?
I thought it was a very well-fought ball game. I thought both teams gave a great effort. However, I think that Salem just kind of took it over early in the third quarter with their rushing game, and they just kind of put it away after that.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of went the way that we thought it was going to before the game. We sort of discussed it, especially with our predictions. 26-7, maybe not the score that we thought it was going to be, but, you know, pretty similar. So now that you got the stat sheet, what do you think were some of the key stats that changed the game tonight?
Wilson went 11 for 20 for 149 yards. However, he went 14 carries for 97 yards and a 27-yard touchdown run.
Wow.
He just was he lit it up on the with his legs. However, and then he evened it out with the throwing ability as well. However, as Amarius Barnum with 8 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown, he only had 6 carries. He had 6 total carries in the second half. And, I mean, in the first half, he only had 11 yards. So he got most of all of his yards in the second half, and, man, he just lit it up.
Yeah, even though the score was 7-0 going into the half in Salem's favor, they were able to get things going early with a 14-0 score after a 3-yard run by Pruitt. That was his second touchdown on the night, and he was able to set up that touchdown by a 31-yard pass to Pruitt that took them down to the 3-yard line. And all of that was set up by an R.J. Martin fumble. He had bobbled a couple snaps on that drive. I don't know if it was some miscommunication or just a bad snap, but it did cost Therrell right there. And then to really kind of cushion their lead on this one, they were able to go up 20-0 after a 27-yard run by Donald Wilson. What'd you see on that run?
I just saw some excellent blocking coming off of the offensive line for Wilson to get off to the corner, and then all the way down to the goal line, number 18 just held his block almost to technical perfection. It was just one of those kind of things where you're just like, that is what blocking is supposed to be like, and he just did a great job with it.
Yeah, and then they unfortunately missed the extra point on that one, which kept the score at 20-0. And then Farrell, they started to make a little comeback. They were able to get a 3-yard touchdown pass by Daquan Evans to make it to 20-7, kind of get in striking distance. But then we are actually going to send it down to the field right now with Torrey McElhaney. He's with Salem coach.
Coach, so your defense was able to hold Therrell's offense to under 150 total yards tonight. How was the defense able to do that?
Well, the big thing we're doing right now is we're trying to get the pieces to match together. Sometimes people just call the defense, but what we're trying to do is trying to logically make the front end of the defense match the back end of the defense. And the big thing we're talking about is rallying to good fit. And we're still not where we need to be. You know, we still need to get better at our fundamental tackles. You know, we're giving them too many second chance runs after we make contact. But the thing is, the kids are starting to learn to run proper angles, and that's the process in non-region games to get better, so that by the time you get to region, you've ironed out a lot of the kinks.
And you said before the game that you really wanted your team to dictate the tempo. Do you think that y'all were able to do that tonight?
I think so. You know, it sort of harkens back to our conditioning. Our kids complain so much. They tell me half the time they think they're a track team rather than a doggone football team because I run them so much. But what I tell them is we don't have the luxury of being bigger than teams. So I tell them instead of being a big bowling ball or a big boulder going at somebody at about 15 miles an hour, we got to be a bullet that's flying at 500 because we're small. But if you're small and you're moving fast and you have endurance, you have a chance to set tone and tempo and make people have to adjust to you.
And kind of going off of that, what adjustments do you think need to be made moving forward, you know, starting region playing pretty soon?
We got to do a much better job of fitting against the run. Our guys are running to the ball, but we're not clubbing and tackling well. Our kids are playing what I call new millennium football. You know, they like to hear the sound of the crack, but don't appreciate the fundamental soundness of making a good, strong tackle, wrapping your hands and running your feet. So that's something we've got to work on. And then offensively, we've got to just quit shooting ourselves in the foot. You'll sit up and get 300-400 yards of offense and only produce about 26 points. It's inexcusable. We left about 21 points on the field tonight, and that's something that we've got to address because it's going to come a night where we're going to need those 21 points.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
You're welcome. Thank you for covering it.
I'm also joined with Donald Wilson, who's the quarterback for the Seminoles. Come on over. All right, so we talked a little before the game about how maybe you could see some quick passing game tonight, but y'all really had a good night on the ground. How were y'all kind of able to adjust during the game?
Well, adjusting during the game is really easy. We really focus on our defense, or their defense, and we study them weekly. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We just assign to what they do. If they want to switch fronts, we switch offenses, and we just pound the ball.
And so after not scoring in that last drive before going into halftime, what did y'all kind of change and adjust during halftime to come out and score those 2 touchdowns in the third?
Well, we was in the room talking, and like Coach said, we got Lamborghinis on the outside, and they got wheels, so we got to give them the ball so they can make plays. That's it.
And your defense held Therrell's offense to under 150 total yards tonight. What do you just have to say about the defense and what they free up you to do?
Man, the defense, they really have our back. I mean, we come out here and score, they come out here and stop, and altogether we just make plays, period. So.
Right. Thank you very much. I'll send it back up to you guys. Thanks.
Awesome work. Thanks, Tori. Like we said, the final here at Seminole Stadium, 26-7 in the favor of Salem. So what's next for the Seminoles? They are going to have to host Miller Grove next week, who is 2-0 on the season, and so far they have not even been tested. They have scored a combined points 81 in those 2 games, a 42-0 shutout and a 39-0 shutout against Clarkston and Stone Mountain, respectively. So it's going to be a really tough test for Salem. What do they have to do to keep this win streak going?
They're going to have to be able to run the ball. I mean, that is going to be a key. Miller Grove has a huge defensive end / outside linebacker, Caleb Tanner, who's actually committed to Georgia to play in for the 2018 class. He's 6'4", 220, and he's an athlete. The coaches are just saying that, that he's just progressing even more, and he's just getting better each game. So if Salem can contain him and keep the ball rolling and utilize the passing game, they'll be able to win. But Miller Grove is going to be a tough challenge for them.
Yeah. For Therrell, they'll be back at home, and they'll be going up against McNair High School, who is 1-0 on the season, who also played Clarkston, and they blew them out of the water 41-6. So it's not going to be easy for Therrell as well. How do they right the ship and get Coach Sullivan his first career win as a head coach?
Well, they beat McNair last year 49-22, and I think they just have to get Martin clicking again and just keep him doing what he's doing, and it's eventually going to come. Like, that win is going to come. They just got to stick to their game plan, work on the offensive line with the blocking schemes and stuff like that, and just get the defensive line a little bit faster and a little bit tougher. And if they can do that stuff, they'll be winning.
Yeah, well, that's all the time we've got for tonight. For everyone here at Rockdale Live, thank you for joining us. I'm Connor Burks. Joined alongside me is Savannah Richardson. We will see you next week when we have Heritage at Rockdale. Have a good night, everybody.